And, they're not mine. It's not my voice. I have to think about who is the person looking at this? Who's the target market here? You can't put yourself on each project because it's not about you. It's about the consumer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Defecit podcast. I am your host, Adam Aubrey. This podcast is brought to you by the Omnia Theater, and my guest today is a good old friend of mine from my amazing, famous years in high school, Mercedes Campbell. She's a marketing expert and currently is the director of marketing for the Executive Table Group down here in Vancouver. They are a high-end restaurant chain, and she is a marketing and PR pro. I'm very lucky to have her on today, and I'd like you all to meet her. Mercedes, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm great. I'm doing fine. Why don't you just start off with a little bit about marketing and PR? Because I'm honestly, I have an idea of what it is, and apparently it's something that I do with this company anyhow. But I never went to school for it. And in case there's any people interested in getting into it that might be watching, why don't you give us a rundown?
Yeah, I mean, I think marketing, people don't really realize how much there can be in marketing, really. Real day to day, we're all marketing ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
You talking about yourself, and, when you apply for a job, you're marketing who you are. So marketing really is just like selling. It's basically sales. Sales and marketing gets lumped in together. Mm-hmm. Marketing and PR gets lumped in together. PR is short for public relations, which is really just talking to people.
Yeah.
And, I didn't go to school for it either.
Just winging it, hey?
Just winging it.
Nice.
I went to school for graphic design, so I was always kind of in the arts world. I wanted to work, the pipe dream was to move to New York and work for Vogue.
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be such a pipe dream. I mean, you've climbed the ladder pretty quick so far.
We'll see. But, marketing, my job currently, what I do as the director is we have 6 restaurants, 1 in Richmond, 1 in Squamish, 1 in North Vancouver, and 3 in downtown Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
And so my job is basically to just, let people know about our restaurants. I work with the teams in-house, so I do all of the social media marketing. So social media being, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, kind of all of those online channels, social media marketing, email marketing. So that's just, when you get things to your inbox, I'm sure everyone, it's
go straight to spam.
Yeah, exactly. It was just Black Friday, so we're all email fatigued.
Oh, really?
It's I don't know about you, but for me, I got so many emails over the past week.
Yeah.
American Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the things.
And anybody who has even this snippet of your data is sending you promo shit.
Oh, and you guys, anything you sign up for these days, when it's like, accept the terms and conditions, they're just selling your information.
Yeah.
When you get emails, you're like, I don't think I signed up for this. It's because your information was sold to someone. And here we are.
It's a pretty dark, tactic that they use, honestly. It's kind of rude, frankly. Here's apparently it's consensual, but we're just going to steal your identity practically and sell everyone it so that they all know who you are and what you're into.
And there's lots of tools that you can use to find people's emails as well. I use them sometimes when I need to find people in, people that work for Condé Nast Traveler, if I want to get writers in from Forbes Traveler or whatever, because with our restaurants, all of our restaurants are within hotels. So I assist on the hotel side as well.
Wow.
So if I want writers to come in and stay and, write a review or get us in a magazine or put us in a publication, I'll find their emails.
Gotta share that resource with me.
Yeah, I will.
That would probably be
off
very
camera.
helpful. Yeah, off camera. All right.
Yeah, you bet. So other than email marketing as well, we've got social media marketing, email marketing, and then I do all the digital marketing. So Google ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, all of that.
Wow.
And then, print marketing, still I do all the menus for all the restaurants, any of the collateral that they need within the restaurants, business cards, posters.
Holy shit. Mercedes, that's a plethora of marketing that I didn't even understand that they were all separate aspects of marketing, but
yeah.
Jesus, that's a lot.
I just hired a social media marketing coordinator. So he's realistically my assistant in a sense. He's not, just my assistant.
Yeah.
He helps everyone.
Yeah.
But he's under my command, I guess. And so he just helps with the social because it's insane. There's so many platforms and with 6 restaurants, and then we help maintain 5 of the hotels. Having 11 accounts is
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Because when you talk about social media marketing, it's one thing to be posting, which we have to post every day on all of our channels
Yep.
for all of the restaurants and hotels. But then there's the engaging side. You have to, as an account, also like other people's posts. You have to comment back. You have to reply. You have to reply to DMs. You have to watch stories. You have to watch reels. And that's not even the content creation, which you know about as well. I mean, making reels, taking photos. We hire photographers and videographers to do the work for us. But then we have to,
That's immense.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a big operation. Like, I mean, there are the hotels that they associate with. Like, all the restaurants are in hotels. Are you allowed to mention which hotel chain they might be?
Yeah, so it's Executive Hotel Group.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, essentially, Executive Hotels is a family-owned company for a long time. Hoteliers here in Vancouver. We have Executive, and then they have some of them are their own sub-brands. So one of the hotels downtown is the Exchange Hotel. And it's one of our newer ones. It's LEED certified, which means it's like a super eco-friendly.
Wow.
We got a Michelin recommendation, which is really exciting on the Michelin.
Is this the one down in Cole Harbor? Wow.
It's beautiful. And so Exchange is owned by Executive. But they wanted to branch out and have different identities as well. So the one in North Vancouver is called Seaside Hotel. It's right in the quay in the shipyards there.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. It's a nice one. Yeah.
So we've got Seaside Provisions in there. So essentially, like the kind of long and short of it is the owner of these hotels. He's one of the sons, and he loves to travel, loves great food. Loves all of that. And previously, they were having the spaces in their hotels leased to like a Moxie's or a White Spot or whatever.
Yeah.
And in 2018, he was like, why am I doing this? I love restaurants. I want to own restaurants. And that's when he met my really good friend Claire and her husband Mark. They previously worked for Global.
Okay, yep.
And when they were looking to change, they met him. His name's Salim. And went in together on making the first restaurant, which was Hydra, which is in the Exchange Hotel. It's our Greek restaurant.
I've heard about this one, and apparently it's amazing.
It's fantastic. We're number 1 on TripAdvisor for 3 years in a row.
Holy shit.
And we just took number 2 and 3 as well with our French restaurant called Alouette, and then our newest restaurant, which is Parker Rooftop.
Wow. I love good food.
I love good food.
Greek food sounds...
I love good Greek food.
So at this Hydra place, what's your favorite dish there that they do?
We've got really amazing, like all of the food's fabulous. I love octopus. Our octopus is so good.
Yes.
I love with a crisp glass of like a Sauvignon Blanc or a Chablis.
Nice.
Octopus.
Nice.
So good. But the souvlaki, so good. I love.
You can't be a functioning Greek restaurant if you don't have good souvlaki.
Oh, and we have killer souvlaki.
The staple dish there, right?
For sure. My lunches are often tomato salad with a chicken skewer.
Oh, Greek tomato salad.
Oof.
Nice.
So good.
Oh, fuck.
Big old wedge of feta.
Yeah, man. Oh, God. Shit. I got to go check that place out. I haven't been out to eat in a long time. That'd be great.
You let me know anytime.
Yeah?
My personal guest.
Cool. How did you end up, like, you went to school for graphic design. How did you end up doing the marketing thing? Like, how does one, like, break into that world?
So I went to school for graphic design in 2015 in Vancouver. That's why I moved from Kamloops. I went to the Vancouver College of Art and Design. I was intending to go to Emily Carr, but the program was 4 years, and it was at the time when they were transitioning into their new building.
Okay.
So there were going to be classes at Granville Island, at the new building, and downtown.
You'd have to be going everywhere.
I was going everywhere. I didn't want to be in school for that long. I wasn't a school person, Obviously,
I feel that.
We know lots of people that went, right to university and
still live in basements.
And that was not for me. After high school, I didn't go to school. I started serving. I moved out. I did all of that. I traveled. I went to Asia.
Yeah.
And when I came here, I went to school for graphic design. I met my ex-husband.
Okay. Yep.
And
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We can get into that.
We will
later.
We will. Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
We moved to the island where he's from. We moved to Nanaimo.
Nice.
And not really.
No.
Sorry to any viewers, listeners. Nanaimo is going to be a great town one day, but it's taking a long time.
Is it just too quiet, or what's the?
There's a whole. It's got so much potential. It's so close to Vancouver. It's, right on the water. There's a lot, but it just feels like they don't have the right people in place to make it the booming city that it could be.
Yeah, it takes proper people in the top
It takes
spots,
proper
right?
planning. So one day. But
Are the people there like kind of just like unwilling to let it progress to what you think it could be, or is it like?
It's so funny because I thought I would like it so much because Kamloops, having been away for long enough, it's such a great town. It's a great city. They have a lot going on. Especially, downtown Kamloops, they've got, in the summer, there's so many festivals. There's a rib festival.
Yeah, it's fantastic there. So I can't bring myself to be there anytime about the summer. Like, I go there for Christmas for the family and stuff, but like, and there's been like a real uptick in, I'm not going to get into that side of it all, but you know what I'm talking about.
Anyways, we moved to Nanaimo.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was fresh out of design school thinking like, amazing, I'm never going to be a waitress again. I went to school. I'm going to have a real job. I'm a big girl now. And let me tell you guys, like minimum wage or whatever the wage was at the time in 2016, I guess.
So like $13, $14 an hour.
I want to say, like maybe minimum wage was $14 an hour. I think I was making like $15.50 as a junior designer at a print shop in Nanaimo.
Well, there it is. I mean, like it's.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
And there was nowhere in Nanaimo. And I didn't know enough. And so I don't know how people survive. I don't know how people survive. I was used to serving and you make tips and you make all this amazing money. And so I started to freelance as well on the side.
Smart. Okay.
So I was working at a print place. I was serving and I was freelancing.
Were you on any of the job sites like Fiverr or something like that? Or?
No, just personal connections, people.
Wow.
So I started freelancing and then social media really started becoming, I mean, I had Instagram maybe in grade 12.
Yeah.
Which was 2011.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything. I don't know the actual proper timeline of like when people started to advertise or like take social media seriously. When influencers became a thing, they were kind of starting in the like 2010.
Like when we were, I feel like it was like mostly big YouTube people.
I was going to say it was YouTubers.
Yeah, the term influencer wasn't even really a thing yet.
Totally.
Yeah.
So that kind of really started to get going in like 2016, 2017, where it was way more mainstream. People started asking me, like, can you help me with my Instagram? Can you help me with my social media? I need a Facebook page. I need this. I need that, all this stuff. And it wasn't graphic design, but I have worked in, the service industry for long enough. I'm a people person. I'm smart enough. I'm a great writer. I'm a great talker.
I love the way you talk about yourself. That confidence is something that more people, especially women, like really need to like have. It's okay, and it's okay to talk like that. Like I think a lot of people these days think it's almost selfish to speak about yourself in a positive manner.
Yeah.
But you need to recognize your strengths.
100%.
You absolutely do, because with that also comes the ability to recognize your weaknesses even more
100%.
and to improve upon those. So like, I just wanted to put that.
Yeah.
It's really cool to hear you say that about yourself.
Thanks.
That is great, because
I've come a long way.
Yeah, I mean, like high school Mercedes was also pretty cool, but to see that you've like come out this way, like you are a very strong professional working girl, it seems, and like you've got the fucking moves. You've been hustling this whole time.
Yeah.
And it shows. Like
Thank
you've
you.
been doing really well for yourself from what I've seen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, keep
No.
going.
It's fun to like kind of rehash this and actually go down the timeline and realize how much I've done.
Oh,
or
yeah.
how far I've come.
Yeah.
It's because you get through the days, the days become years and you get to this place, but it's fun to go back and be like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
I am pretty fucking cool.
Something I got told when I was going to therapy for a couple of years.
Everyone needs it.
Fuck, so much more than they think too.
Mm-hmm.
When if you don't think you need therapy, it means you fucking need therapy.
Yeah, you're
just
the problem.
So you know. Yeah, listener, please. If you're thinking in your head this guy's crazy, go to fucking therapy.
He's still crazy, but
oh, yeah,
you'll be able to understand him a little better.
Yeah, exactly. My therapist helped my crazy look normal.
Yeah,
it's
there
great.
you go.
But she gave me this word. I was having a bit of a midlife crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but a couple of mental illnesses here and there, whatever. But one of the things that she helped me out with, because I was just like, I did not think that I would be how I am at this age when I look back at what I wanted to be, right?
Geez,
None of us are, right? But she was like, well, if you were next to yourself at 14 years old, what do you think your 14-year-old self would think about what you're doing now?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, we'd probably think it was pretty cool,
Yeah.
honestly. And from that point forward, it's like, you just try to honor that thought.
Totally.
And
It's called shadow work, I think, or something like
Yeah.
like when you think about yourself as a child and what you
Mm-hmm.
thought you'd be at 30 or what you thought you'd be at 40 or
Yeah.
25 or whatever.
Like a constant perception of the fourth dimension. You know,
Yeah.
you're like looking back in time and like being able to reflect on it consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really helpful piece of advice with a lot of that. Like, and that's where looking back on things can be really helpful. A lot of people are so stuck in the present and worried about what's coming ahead.
Myself included.
Yeah. They just don't take the time to just breathe and recognize how far they've come, you know, even if it's not how you pictured it, you know. Are you happy with the way things have turned out for you?
Yeah, today for sure. Like this at this point in my life currently, yes. I would last year was the worst year of my life. I got divorced. I like all of that. I changed jobs. I let go of my company with my best friend. I had friends move. There was a lot of moving parts, but I finally feel like I'm planted in the right place.
Out of the tunnel on the other side now.
Totally. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
So you're going forward with you started your company and
I started freelancing.
Yeah, and you're a real fucking go-getter.
Yeah,
personal connections,
exactly.
Moving forward, making social media profiles for people.
Yeah, and helping maintain them. And I left the print company. The print company I worked for really specialized in realtors. Because there's a lot of real estate on the island. I mean, there's a lot of real estate everywhere, but there's a lot of beautiful homes on the island, a lot of big name realtors over there. And so one of the agents that got all of his print done, because when you're selling a house, you need feature sheets, you need business cards, you need postcards that you put in the mailboxes in the neighborhood. Like, they have a lot of stuff that they do for every single home. So it's continual business all the time.
Okay.
You know, they have photo shoots for every house. They want to post them on social media. They're like, every single house is being marketed. So one of the people who printed there, he poached me as to be his assistant and his like lead person.
Cool.
To maintain basically be his marketing person.
Wow.
For his team. So I went over there. That was a blip of life. We moved on from him.
Okay.
I started working for a different agent.
Yep.
And that was going really well. All this whole time, also serving in the evenings. And then I ended up being the manager of that restaurant as well.
Hey, turning up, eh?
Yeah, it was a lot. And I was also, I got engaged in that time. We moved out to like a great house. There was lots of things going on. It was fabulous. I started working. I was working for I was freelancing for multiple real estate agents. And then I heard about this company in Kamloops called Pepper. They're still a thing. I learned a lot from them, but they were virtual assistants.
Oh, cool.
So you don't have to have an assistant. Like, you don't really need to have someone actually with you. You know, the world, you can online chat and we can have Zoom calls. And this was before COVID. Mm-hmm. So I started working with them as well to help assist. And I didn't love the way they were running their company. So I stepped back, I left and kept doing my own thing, kept freelancing. And then COVID hit. And I was, at the time, working for a bunch of agents as their, like, lead marketer, and the company just kind of fell apart because of COVID.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything fell apart.
Yep.
You couldn't do showings anymore, without wearing, like, booties and masks and things and all. Like, there was just tons going on. And no one knew what was going to happen, so they shut their company down. But for me, all of a sudden, overnight, everyone needed online.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the money hit for you. That's when it went up.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I started my own marketing agency. To begin with, it was just Mercedes Creative. My sister moved here back from Australia because she had been traveling and had to come home because of COVID.
Yep.
And I had this one amazing client. Her name's Brandy. Shout out to Brandy Joy Smith. I love her so much. I've since met her multiple times. She lives in LA.
Nice.
She was someone that I had been connected to virtually as a virtual assistant, all this stuff. I became her virtual assistant. And she really turned everything up because she was in this like women's, entrepreneur, women's mother group online. And there were tons of people looking for virtual assistants in this chat. And she just like plopped my name in and was like, oh, Mercedes Rain's the best. Like, she's your girl. And when honest to God, the week my sister arrived, she came and lived on the island with my ex and I in our house. And we woke up one morning and I was like, I think we're being spammed. Because Brandy didn't tell me she'd put my name out.
Oh, so you just
So I was
they just
like,
started
what are all
pouring
these
in.
emails? Like, this is crazy. Like, what's going on? And Brandy was like, yeah, I just put you in this chat. Like, overnight, we had 15 new clients.
So is Brandy, is she like a entrepreneur, obviously? Like
Super entrepreneurial.
In what industry? What is she?
Yeah, so she was she worked in fashion in New York.
Wow.
Her role is evading me. It'll come to me. She like worked with not what your job is, but similar. Like she was the one who was like getting all the models ready, doing all the things like for photo shoots. She worked with Cosmopolitan. Like she
was like a coordinator of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Moved to LA, met her husband in New York, moved to LA. And they were flipping houses and doing all that. She's got kids. She was an influencer. She's a great writer. She was just like doing all the stuff.
Wow.
So she just needed help with her social, with her brand, with her personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
So we did all of that. And then again, overnight we had like 15 clients. In this time, decided to move back to Vancouver. I couldn't live on the island anymore. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be so far from my friends. And I hated BC ferries.
That's what I hear from everyone who's moved from there. It's like they would have stayed even if the ferries weren't so shit.
The ferries weren't shit, and if they had Wi-Fi that worked, and like, there's just a lot. So moved back to Vancouver. One of my very best friends, Parker, he had a similar situation. He was in PR, and like COVID, lost his job, was freelancing, all this stuff, and didn't really know what to do. And I was like, I need help. I have people asking me for PR. I don't really understand it. It's not my forte, and I could just use a hand maintaining these clients. So he came on board. His boyfriend, Matt, is a photographer, amazing artist, amazing graphic designer. Well, of course, within graphic design, there's a million different types. So I love like layout design. Working for a magazine's my dream to do, putting it all together. But actually, like painting and drawing, that's not my skill.
Okay.
So he's like an artist. So we basically all joined forces. We started Good Monday Creative.
Good Monday.
There's no such thing as a Good Monday. So
our great. That's an awesome name.
Yeah, it was great. We had a lot of fun. And looking back on that was only like 2.5 years. We worked so fucking hard. We absolutely slayed. We made so much money.
Yeah.
And then it became incredibly hard. It just, it felt like during COVID, everyone got online and then everyone was an influencer and everyone's got this micro company.
Everyone's trying to show their life off and like,
it became a lot.
Yeah.
And we burnt out. I started to go through the processes of realizing my marriage wasn't working out. We worked from home. And my partner worked from home as well. In that time as well, we started a mushroom company.
Cool.
So he's still got the company. Parker and Matt actually still do all of the marketing for it.
Is it like psilocybin mushrooms or?
Yeah.
Nice.
Fungal Friend.
Cool. Fungal Friend. I like that.
They're fabulous. Shout out to Fungal Friend.
It's kind of like they're like the next like weed industry, right? Like,
very much so. It's going to become legal very soon.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you look at the studies that come out of psilocybin and like a lot of other psychedelics too. The amount of effect it can help with like just therapies of all sorts. I've heard really good things about people with Alzheimer's and like severe PTSD and stuff.
Anxiety, depression, ADHD, all of it.
Yeah, and it's from the ground. I mean, fuck. We've already figured this out once already.
Whatever I'm drinking has got adaptogens.
Oh, and that's like shrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Anyways.
Yeah.
So we had the agency and my life was really spiraling out of control and Parker and Matt were moving to Montreal and I was like, you know what? I think that you guys should just take the company. At this point I'd been freelancing for 6 years. 6 years. And I was like, I just want a fucking job where I arrive and they pay me and I go home.
Yeah.
Because as a freelancer, you're constantly on. You're hustling. Your phone is ringing. Yeah. You are answering emails.
It's gig work, essentially, right?
Totally.
Finding your contracts and make it all work. It's the same way in film, right? You finish a show and you got to find somewhere to go after that, right?
Yeah.
So you're constantly networking, schmoozing.
Yeah. So I started working for Ani, which is a development company in Vancouver. They've got so many...
I see their signs fucking everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And they have a sub-brand called Level, which is their hotels and long-term stays. So
I didn't know that. I've seen the Level stuff. Okay, cool.
So that was amazing. I loved my team so much. I worked there for just under a year. Okay. I traveled a lot. I got to go to LA a lot. Nice. Ani owns like the most property in downtown LA, the biggest penthouse. I got to meet some really amazing people, see some really beautiful places, stay at some really beautiful places.
Wow. I've seen some of your posts. Like you go down to LA pretty frequently, eh? You look like a real somebody when you're on those pictures. Right?
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about social media.
Yeah,
Anyone's a someone.
Right? Yeah, that's true enough.
Yeah, but I love to travel. So the hotel thing, I was like, oh, shit, okay, hotel stuff.
Yeah?
I could travel for work. It had never
shit,
really,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, they're a hotel chain. Of course, they're going to have hotels all over the world.
Totally.
All over the world.
So I went to Seattle a lot. They have a hotel there. I was like slotted to go to Chicago right before I quit. They have a hotel there. But yeah, during that time, I mean, I met so many amazing people. I loved it. I loved my team so much. I never would have quit unless the opportunity I have now landed in my lap.
Mm-hmm.
So my very good friend Clara, as I was saying, executive table group, her and her husband, the group was growing really quickly. They just started with Hydra at the beginning of 2018 or 2019. And now we have 6 restaurants. So like it's a lot.
And they're still on the up. They're doing more projects in the plan.
100%. Yeah.
That's wicked. I might know some people who might be able to help out if you need extra manpower.
There we go.
That'd be fucking wow. That's awesome. So, not to cut the story off at all, but just to reiterate a little bit here, in a nutshell, to get into being a successful marketing person in general, it doesn't necessarily take a degree in graphic design, but it takes hustle, social skills, which can be built. You don't have to be naturally gifted with social skills. It's
totally.
Just like anything else you learn, right? You learn how to read people, how to speak to people, how to handle yourself. And just like getting out there, I guess. Like what would you say, like in like a quick little blurb? How does one go, like, I want to be in marketing like what this woman is doing?
I think adaptability is a huge thing. You have to be able to be like quick on your feet, and personability as well. It definitely can be learned, but you have to be able to speak to all different types of people. You have to also not have. I think really to have like not a big ego. For me, I have to be the voice of 6 completely different restaurants, and I don't. They're not mine. It's not my voice. I have to think about who is the person looking at this? Who's the target market here? You can't put yourself on each project because it's not about you. It's about the consumer.
Yeah.
So I think thinking about it that way as well.
So thinking selflessly.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. But also, the hustle. The hustle is real.
The hustle is real. Quote to live by.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, I think, and perseverance. I worked hard. I hustled my ass off. I worked a lot of jobs to get where I am. I'm finally, in this place, but I was always serving on the side, meeting people, doing things, going to events, putting myself out there, trying to meet new people.
Yeah.
And as a freelancer and someone who's marketing, again, well, like I said at the beginning, you market yourself every day.
Yeah.
You go to these events, you put your best foot forward, you make a good impression. Somebody knows somebody else who needs help. Like you just said, you're like, oh, I might have someone to help with the restaurants. Everybody knows somebody.
Yeah.
So you have to always, treat people with respect, put your best foot forward so that you never know what might land in your lap.
Yeah. But I mean, truer words have never really been spoken. I've seen this firsthand myself. I'm sure many people have. But like that's another reason to really handle yourself professionally when you're in any of these types of events, or even if you're just out at a place. If you're at a facility or a restaurant or something that really interests you and stuff, you never know whose attention you might be catching by just going a little bit extra with how kind you want to speak to somebody, things like that, right?
Yeah. Shout out to any listeners that are in the dating world right now. Girls are looking at, or people, are looking at how you speak to your server. You treat your server like shit.
Yeah, big time.
I'm never going on a second date with you.
Yeah.
No way, Jose.
I didn't find that out until like I was about 2 years in with my wife. Yeah, we went out for dinner pretty frequently, but when there wasn't many issues. But she wasn't exactly rude, but she certainly wasn't patient, I guess I could say. Took a couple verbal lashings, I guess, and like she kind of figured it out after a bit.
I think everyone should have to serve.
That's exactly what I said. Like people who haven't worked in the service industry, especially as servers, like they have no idea, and they're so quick to judge. Like they're like their job is so easy.
It's so not,
and it's not. No, you're dealing with shit all the time. Like, and like, sure, like when something goes really well, it's just another day on the job. But if something goes bad, then everyone's gonna hear about it.
Well, and another thing with marketing, looking when you're hiring, for me personally, when I'm hiring someone, or even, I am in the restaurant industry, marketing.
Yeah.
But with any job, I'm always looking for people who have served or have been in the industry, because you learn so much. You have to be quick thinking. You have to be able to juggle lots of tasks. You have to be able to work with people you don't like, speak to people that are assholes to you, and still let them have a good experience. Work with chefs who are, screaming at you. The hostess triple seats you. The cutlery's not done. The bill's not printing. The plates are hot. The things are done wrong. Like, you're constantly thinking 10 steps ahead, and that's adaptability.
Yeah. There you go. That's getting into marketing in a nutshell right there for you guys.
Yeah.
And she knows this chick's a pro for real. Like,
served
goddamn.
a long time. I was serving for 12 years total.
Well, fuck, you can muscle out a fake smile real easy then by now.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's
Every
awesome.
once in a while, I still get to be on the floor. Like a couple of days ago at one of our newer restaurants, Parker Rooftop, we were flipping the room for a Christmas party. And I had a tray, and I was bringing all the glasses, and I was like, you know what, guys? Let me run the floor tonight.
Really? That's
I did not do it, but no. I thought I could do this again.
Fuck yeah.
I miss it.
You get around it again, and it kind of, there is something nice about working in service. Like, just it feels more, what's the word I'm looking for? The heartbeat of it. It's like faster. It's a faster pace.
Yeah.
It's
you get
exciting.
into flow state.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than serving flow state. Or it's design, whatever your flow state is.
Yeah.
When you get into that mode and nothing else matters, your music's right, you're in your headphones, you're just like writing or designing or whatever it is you're doing. Serving on a busy night when everything's going right, like you were saying, and your tables are good and you're running around, and all of a sudden the night's over. It's been 8 hours. Everyone's doing their tips at the bar, drinking a glass of wine. Maybe you're all going to go out later. You're eating a plate of fries.
There really isn't a better post-work ritual than when you work in a restaurant. Man.
There is not.
When I was traveling through New Zealand, I got a job at a place called Pravda. It was a high-end bistro in the Wellington Central Business District.
Okay.
Swankiest place I ever served at. Like, I had a serving job at Denny's, and like I was a bartender at the Halston pub for a while there.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
When I was running my karaoke nights, they're like, we need an extra guy to fucking help with the bartending. And then I ended up, when I wasn't doing karaoke night there, I'd be bartending 2 or 3 days a week. It wasn't much, but it was just enough to deal with the clientele and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I did some banquet serving and stuff too, like catering and shit like that. But when I got into this place in New Zealand, it was immaculate. Like, these just giant chandeliers and like marble floors, like the whole works. It was beautiful. It was more high end than anything I'd ever worked in. And my first day on the job, I got there, we served some tables and stuff, whole day goes through, and at the end of the day, my manager Dex, but with a Kiwi accent, he called himself Dix. From Dix. And he locks the doors of the place, says, sit right here, I'll be right back. Okay. I sit down, and the dishwasher comes out from the back of house, sits down. Our other bartender, Hugo, sits down, and then Dix comes up with 2 bottles of our most expensive port and like a charcuterie board that could feed 12 with like all the preserves and everything. And I sat there for hour and a half, 2 hours, drinking expensive wine, eating delicious food, and literally just talking about all these different cultures, because our dishwasher was a Quebecer from Montreal, and then Hugo was from Paris, like actual France, and then Dex was a Kiwi. And then here's me, a West Coast Canadian guy, right?
Yep.
And it was just wild. And I was like, that was the moment where I was like, this is why I traveled.
Yep.
But then I realized when that was all going on that like that's just also the biggest perk of working in food and beverage and
100%.
service is like you don't get that kind of bond with a lot of other people. If you work in sales here and there, like if you're in like a brick and mortar business like that, maybe you got like one cool manager who's got a fridge with some beer in the back that you guys have some drinks with after work. But nothing like that. Like when you have,
it's the best.
Yeah, that's really. I forgot all about the camaraderie of it.
Have you watched The Bear?
Yes. Holy shit. Amazing.
So my personal Instagram's basically just turned into a Jeremy Allen White stan. Like, take me now, Jeremy. I know you're single, divorced after 7 years. Me too, babe. I'm ready and willing. I can't wait.
He is yeah. The blue eyes, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you know I'm a sucker for blue eyes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Thinking back on it now, I think that makes sense now. Yeah.
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
It all lines up now. Yeah.
Yeah, but the bear.
Yeah.
You've watched both seasons?
Yes.
The fucking episode when Cousin like gets to figure his like he becomes.
It clicks. Yeah. He's got the suit
sobbing.
on. Yeah, yeah.
Like for me especially as well, moving to Vancouver, being in Kamloops, I served in Kamloops all the time as well. White Spot, Boston Pizza, and then the Commodore, and the Rockin' Firkin. For a while there, if you're not rocking at the Firkin, you're not Firkin rocking.
Fucking, we did karaoke nights there for a while.
Jesus Christ.
It's just that little Polish guy who ran the place.
But if
not a nice
I
guy.
felt for a long time there in Kamloops, not good about serving. It's a small town. You're working in small town restaurants or whatever, and it's a means to just make money until you can get to your real job, to get to your real job, to go to school, to do whatever. Then I moved to Vancouver, and you meet career servers and people that have been doing this for 30 years, and
oh hell yeah,
and then shows like The Bear and like I feel like Anthony Bourdain really became with all the like cooking shows we have on Netflix now, and Parts Unknown, just all of that.
No reservations.
Oh God, so good,
just
so good. Did you ever watch The Layover?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like when you just have 24 hours in a city.
Yeah, I'm a super fan.
Parts and
yeah.
I am too. I am too for sure. Kitchen Confidential. Come on.
I
gotta read it.
I don't know if you knew this about me when we were in high school, but I actually have a reading disability.
Oh, honey.
I didn't figure that out until after high school.
Okay.
I think I was out to dinner with my wife. I think it was for her birthday or something, but my mom was out with us. And we were just talking about school. I was like, yeah, I don't know. It was always really hard for me. Like I could do any of the more physical stuff. I was in I was in all the fucking human performance triathlon training. I did guitar and stuff like that. Sure. I was okay with English and I was interested in sciences, but I couldn't really handle the math for it yet.
Same.
Yeah. And my mom goes, that's because you have a learning disability. I was like, what?
Sorry, now's the time to
Yeah,
tell me?
you're telling me this now? You just let me think I was the slow kid for my entire high school career and elementary school? I guess when I was younger, I got this really gnarly fever on this road trip we did down to Disneyland. 105 for 3 days. Half my brain shut down. Yeah, in California. And we didn't go to the ER because we didn't have travel insurance. So my mom being
90s parents.
raised by German immigrants who fled the Second World War, and my Opa was a German sniper back in that. They were hard people. So my mom was still to this day unless you're physically bleeding, you're not going to the hospital.
Okay.
It's you can ride it out kind of thing. And so gave me a learning disability, a fine motor skills malfunction I had to go to therapy for.
You remember none of this?
I remember all of it. I just don't remember. I didn't know that the learning disability was a thing. I knew the motor skills was a thing. Okay. And I knew that my left eye was all fucked up from it. It warped my eye muscle. That's why I had to wear glasses for so long. And found out afterwards. And then just earlier this year, hence the podcast, found out I had ADHD. Yeah. Which everyone fucking has in our age these days. But understanding that that's why my mind works the way it does. Mm-hmm.
It's a superpower.
Yeah, it really made sense to me. Yeah. It helped out a lot. But I've always wanted to read all these books. And I will read and read and read and nothing sticks. I will not remember a single thing about it. I don't have a hard time reading the words. It's just that my brain does not hold that information. And my eyes will just skip lines constantly.
Audiobooks.
Yeah, well, I just got an Audible subscription, actually. I've been listening to these fucking wacky, it's called the 12 Books of Enoch. Okay. I don't know if you ever heard of that. They used to be parts of the Bible that have been removed since. But the Ethiopian Christian faith still has them within it. It's some guy who apparently walked with God, was the uncle to Noah or some shit. Wow. Got to the age of 380 years old. So I was like, this sounds neat. I'm into some of that ancient aliens conspiracy shit anyhow, right? So I fucking been listening to that when I go to bed and stuff. But Kitchen Confidential, thank you for reminding me, because that's going on there right when I get home.
Well, I also love David Chang.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay.
Momofuku. And
yeah.
I've been lucky enough to go to one of his restaurants in LA.
Wow.
Yeah, I love him and his book, Eat a Peach. You should definitely read or listen to. I had his magazine subscription. He had a magazines for a while
I feel
called
like
Lucky Peach, and I fell in love with the design of all of that.
really,
So, yeah,
just
I
like
have all of them.
the layout of it all,
Yeah,
and like
it's a quarterly, so there's only 4 a year, quarterly,
wow.
and not like a monthly subscription. So they're thicker, and each one, the cover's completely different. The whole design of it's completely different every time.
Wow.
And it's all a different subject.
Does he employ different artists for these
Yeah.
things too every time?
Yeah.
That's
Bourdain's
awesome.
and been interviewed in a lot of them.
I bet they were good friends.
They were very
right?
good friends.
Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain called David Chang the night that he killed himself,
Mhm.
and David Chang didn't answer the phone.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That would be hard to live with. I can't, like, Jesus.
But his book Eat a Peach, he's got like a whole chapter on Anthony Bourdain, and it's very, very, very good. I've read it a few times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Are you? Would it be wrong for me to assume that you find yourself at home in the kitchen often? Do you cook a lot?
I've started to in the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I like to cook for people.
Yeah.
I like to do like if we're having like a girls' night or a week, like people in town or whatever.
Being able to prepare a meal
And picking out something fun from a cookbook that maybe you haven't done or that has always interested you. I like to cook in that sense. When I cook for myself, I feel like a staple of about 10 things that I like to do for myself that I can cook well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I do like to cook.
It can be really fun. I'm a bit of a hobby chef myself, but
yeah.
It's kind of its own form of art. There's a certain sense of creative release there. I haven't really been cooking much lately, but I mean, if you're into David Chang and Anthony Bourdain, it just makes sense that you would be into, at least when people come over and you want to prepare a good meal for them and stuff, arguably the most fucking ballsy feeling out there. Like when people come and the steaks are cooked just right, or like
I'm a killer at a steak.
Yeah? Like good steaks. There's good steaks out here too. Like good cuts of meat and shit. We got this Ukrainian butcher up the street from us. He's only gets this AAA prime Canadian beef. It's not Kobe or anything, but goddamn man, it's just perfect.
You come
stuff.
to Parker Rooftop, we'll get you some Wagyu.
I would love to. We'll see. Strike's over now, so I might have the budget for that again. It would be great. We've got
a Wagyu tartare right now. That's so good.
Holy shit. Okay.
It's very good.
All right.
We like smoke it in a cloche at the table.
Oh, fuck. I'll just sell something, go for dinner.
No, you come as my guest.
Yeah? You sure? Fuck. That's a dangerous proposal because I eat a lot. That shit.
It's all good.
Oh, man. Goddamn.
We got a hotel you can stay in afterwards.
I'll take it. I can't pass up that offer. That sounds like a good time. We'll have to plan that then. That sounds good. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think the thing about, like, for me, the restaurants and all of it, and that's what I was saying about, like, that episode of The Bear, when Cousin really figures this shit out, like, I've felt that way, and being in the industry, I loved restaurants. I love restaurants so much. It's what I've always known, and now to be in this place where I'm still doing what I love in marketing, but it's for restaurants, it feels like just so perfect fit.
Yeah.
I when I was in school, I worked for Joey, like Joey restaurant groups, and
I love Joey.
Yeah. Joey Bentall is where I was. It was awesome. Met a lot of amazing people there. But Bentall is where is head office, and so you'd see like all the marketing girls come down for lunch, or like all the people in PR and all the people like upstairs.
Cool.
I was like, how the fuck do I get up there? I want to get up there.
Yeah.
And that was when I was in design school, so that's always been in the back of my mind.
Huh?
How do I get upstairs?
Then I guess you're in your own form of upstairs.
I'm in my own upstairs now.
Yeah. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, these kinds of stories, they really are like the bread and butter of why I like to talk to people in the first place. Like hearing about the journey, the strategy, and hearing from people who understand their own strengths is just like food for the soul, really.
Yeah.
Like it's inspirational because
Thank you.
there's a lot of people out there who they think that sort of career path, whether it be marketing or working in film, for example, they think it's so far away. Like it's just like some movie world or something, and it could just be one conversation.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly right. It could be one conversation.
I just talked to a lamp op buddy of mine when I was down here. I built some stuff for a friend's movie, and I'd never worked in film or anything anyhow. But I built up a coffee stand and like found all these props. I was still a carpenter at the time, and we finished filming. And I got to my friend's place down here to come visit him. He's a lamp op, Jacob Ortiz.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I know, right? Blast from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lamp operator out here. Well, he's a rigging LX guy now, but I was like, just tell him I can't do construction anymore. It's starting to kill my soul.
Yeah.
And he goes, do film. I didn't go to film school. You don't have to. Give me your phone number. Okay. I went home, quit my job without knowing, but maybe got a phone call the next day. I had 3 days to get down here. Started as production assistant on an ABC pilot, and next thing I know, you just going forward. A lot of times, you don't need to go to school. You can just do it yourself. It's not like
and as well, if you are willing to start at the ground level and put in the work, there are so many companies, especially these days, that have education budget.
Oh, absolutely.
And will send you like, oh, you want to learn, like, especially in the marketing world, there's new platforms constantly. There's new ways to create content. There's new things all the time. And so being able to go to these amazing conferences, all over North America or wherever, and meet other people and learn about the newest technology and learn about what's happening and all of that is huge.
That's a good way to change the topic, actually, too. I wanted to ask you, AI is just going crazy right now, right? So
it's scary.
Yeah.
Good scary, bad scary, both.
Yeah. I mean, it is a tool of sorts, right? At least for 100%. Now. If it's ever sentient, I wanted to know that it's a tool that I very like.
Yeah.
Don't come after me, Scott.
Always be nice to the weird kids. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have you been seeing any examples of help or hindrance as far as the advancement of this technology goes?
I mean, yeah, I do use it when I need for like Chat GPT. In my brain, I'm like, I can't write another press release. I don't even know anything anymore, let alone my own name. Like, and so I'll use it to start me off.
Give you like a template almost.
Yeah, and then I'll adapt it, and because I do find that it for me personally, like it puts in a lot of filler words, and there's a lot of descriptors and all these things, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So I use that. I see it's in every single platform that I use now. Like we use Canva for some of our social stuff, and later is our social scheduler, like Squarespace for websites, WordPress for websites. Email marketing things. Like every single one has like use AI to write this or use AI to create this picture you're looking for and stuff like that. And I don't use it. I can see how it is very helpful, but I do worry that it's going to take jobs from designers, writers.
Oh yeah, that's what the strikes were just over that were happening out there. They're trying to scan background actors, pay them a day's wage, and own their likeness in perpetuity.
That's fucked up.
For 1 day's wages. Yeah, it wasn't about the actors wanting more money necessarily. Like at least not the big name ones. It was about like background actors and like the actual working actor class who they're not hugely famous, but they make a living acting.
For sure. I know quite a few people in the industry in Vancouver, of course.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of them are servers.
Yeah. That's a good side gig for them. It keeps the schedule open and stuff. But yeah, they're like studios are trying to hop right on that train and just like cut with like, and like I feel like, in my opinion, for certain things, like they say lawyers and accountants are actually going to be like some of the first ones to be like deleted because
I'm not sure I want some AI person cracking my case.
I know.
I murder my ex-husband.
But I mean, like with I guess with hey, you never know. If you could say my ex-husband got beaten by a robot in court, like that would be
pretty cool.
Yeah, I found that robot too. Like
there you go.
Right. Where was I going with this? Yeah. So
lawyers and accountants.
Yeah, because like just like things that would be like, for example, in law, there's a lot of referring to other cases and stuff, right? Yeah. And just like things that are like kind of basic analytics like that.
Is it like the clerk work or something that you do? Alex Wheel's a lawyer.
Alex Wheel's a lawyer now?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Is he out here?
He was in Victoria. I think they're back in Kamloops. Him and Lindsay, I introduced them. They both worked at Boston Pizza. They just had a baby.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's a lawyer. I think that's called like your clerking days or whatever, when you just like are the lawyer's bitch.
Yeah.
You just have to look everything
you gotta be a
up
law
for
clerk.
everyone else.
My cousin's she does corporate litigation at Blake's. She just made partner there.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, she's fucking boss.
Women are taking over the world. Watch out.
Oh yeah. Oh, if you met my wife, you'd already know that. It's like, I think that the AI thing, like, it has its places for sure. And it is unfortunately going to wipe out a lot of jobs. I feel like we should treat the creative spirit of humanity as like our northern star. Like that is one
Totally.
thing that should not be, like they just had a big court case about this, that some guy had all this AI art that people were just using as open source. And they ruled that it's not his art because he had AI make it. It wasn't him making it, right? And that's fair, honestly. You didn't put a pen to that paper.
No.
You told something else to make it for you. And they ruled that under those principles, anything created by AI as far as a creative interpretation or representation goes will never be able to be copyrighted or trademarked. It will always be an open source thing, and I think that's fair. Frankly.
I agree.
It's like,
but it's pretty creepy that this, like, these faces and these things are being created by a robot that are just on the internet everywhere.
Yeah,
I think a lot about teens, people in general, whatever, with all the filters on Instagram. That's not AI, but just all like the.
Well, it kind of is, honestly, like the Snapchat filters and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
I guess it was the beginning of
it's
AI.
primitive, but it is still AI.
When you actually look into it, especially for like changing your face, making you look, changing your eye color, making your lips bigger, making your nose smaller, your cheeks higher.
What are you going to look like at 75?
Well, exactly. That the opposite way.
That one scared me.
Teens, young girls, young boys, people, whomever that are seeing all these people online and the people they aspire to look to be. Wow, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah.
Even just like when you see the ones that are like girls standing in a bikini in front of the mirror, like fitness models and all these things, and then they show that you can get the split screen of what they actually look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
I'm a short, curvy girl, and it took a long time for me to understand the clothes aren't going to look like that on me.
Yeah.
And thank God I got there. But I think so many young people.
It's a dangerous place for young people right now, especially ones who are like just on social media all the time. They don't understand like reality in a sense. Like you're literally looking at everything that has been glorified and fake about our society, really.
Yeah.
And comparing yourself to it constantly. Mm-hmm. Not just like once in a while where like
you open a magazine and it's been photoshopped.
Yeah.
It's online every day, 12 hours a day.
Yeah. And it like you go to a movie, you could go to a movie when we were younger and you'd see like Megan Fox. I'm like, I'll never be like that. Or I could see like fucking Chris Hemsworth and be like, fuck, I will never be in the 6 foot club. I am 5 foot. I'm 5'6". Like that.
I'm 5'1".
Yeah, exactly. But and I don't mean to like go tit for tat on this or anything, but as far as short men go,
and I love a short king.
My
ex is short.
We appreciate that. We really do. It's a thing. But like, if you go on like some of these dating apps, a lot of them say like, got to be at least 5'10" to ride this or whatever. Like all this shit.
It's bullshit.
It's like. If I'm gonna take this to an extreme right now.
Let's go.
If I was black and somebody put that on their profile, like I don't date black men.
Yeah, well, that's horribly racist.
Yeah, right. But there's no racism for short people, even though they used to keep short people in cages in medieval times, and they used to fucking do all this terrible stuff, right? Like, it's the one physical trait that is unchangeable and that you were born with that is still completely fine to ridicule.
Isn't there like a song, "Short People Got No Reason to Live"?
If there is, then I feel terrible. But yeah, there is. God damn. That's who the fuck says that kind of stuff? Like, yeah, like that. You didn't see like that. This is where the social media thing comes in again. Is like if you're a kid, like even if never mind a kid, you're a teenager, like a fucking 17,
you're a 30-year-old woman. I still sometimes am like, damn. Oh wait, that's not real.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be lying if I said I didn't do the same thing once in a while.
I think the thing with AI is we need to like fucking get going on educating people about it, how it works, where it's being used. There needs to be some sort of like a trade, like a watermark.
Do you think that the way the educational system is structured currently in our society, you think that's going to be something that we can get on top of fast enough?
No. Yeah. Nothing happens quickly. No.
I think that's one thing that needs to change too, is like if we want people to think healthier about themselves and spend less time on social media, they should probably be in an education system that's more engaging, right? Something that like actually piques their interest rather than having them fucking zone out.
I heard recently that you don't even get grades anymore, and like there's no due dates. Everything's due at the end of the year, and they don't get like A, B, C, D or whatever. It's like pass, fit, or pass, or like well done, well.
Yeah.
Like it's like 0 to 10 or something. I don't even know.
I
It's
know.
insane.
Yeah, I mean that, and like, I fucking wish.
School's a social experiment.
Yeah.
School was started so that adults could go to work.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and so that those kids would learn what it's like to get up in the morning, go to a job, and then come home at the end of the day and do it 5 days a week, right? It was who was it? The Rothschilds or Rockefellers were the ones who like invested in the first educational system because they owned all these factories and they needed people to be trained for factories.
Rockefeller.
Yeah, it was Rockefeller. Yeah, the bankers.
Rockefeller Center. I was just there in New York.
Fucking cool. I've never. You know what? I've only gone to Las Vegas. Never been to the States other than that nightmare trip to California. That was it. Las Vegas when I was 23. I don't know. I've never gone south. I don't know. There's so many other countries that interested me.
Totally.
But lately, like getting older and working in the film industry, where LA and New York are the only two industries above ours, you get a lot of exposure to like American society, I guess, and like what it could be like and stuff. And like, I guess getting older and kind of taking more of an interest in like global like geopolitics and the socio-political spectrum and like how America came to be and what it is pretty intriguing, frankly, because it's huge. I mean, America is like this empire. It's giant.
They'll never let us forget it.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? They just love to do that. They love rubbing that in,
Totally.
It's yeah, but I think New York would be one of the first places I'd want to go because that like
it's magical.
Yeah, the music. What's the music like? Tell me about that.
Oh man,
You go to any venues when you were there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to go back. I'm already planning my next trip. We have a hotel there.
Oh wow. Okay. Thank you. I see. Making moves.
Making
I
moves.
like that. Yeah.
We have a hotel there, and I went with my girlfriend Roz and our friend Lilith. And so we stayed one night at our hotel. And then I have one of my past clients. She lives in New York. She's an author. She's amazing. We've never met still. When I was going to go to New York, I called her up and I was like, we can finally meet. Like, let's go for lunch. We thought it was all going to work out. And then she called me like a month before our trip. And she was like, hey, I've got some bad news, but some good news. I'm actually not going to be in the city when you're in New York. But you know what? Why don't you just stay at my house for free? So we stayed in her incredible 3-story brownstone in Brooklyn, rooftop patio.
Oh, wow.
It was incredible. It was so
I think
amazing.
I saw a picture of you on the patio on that one. Shared on the gram there. That's cool.
It was amazing.
I
But so
bet.
like we saved so much budget on accommodation.
That's
So we
incredible.
like balled out. We went for like this insane dinner right in Manhattan at this beautiful steakhouse called Hawksmoor. That it was an old bank. The thing about New York is like in Canada, we're not old.
No.
You go to New York and like it's.
There were like 400.
I've never been to Europe, so I can't wait to go to Europe. Obviously, I think like that's very old and you see beautiful buildings. But
My
like
wife always brags about her time in Germany when she lived there for like 9 months, and like I always talk about like how cool it is to like see like some older Canadian buildings and stuff. She's like, oh, but there's 1,000-year-old Roman roads in Germany. I'm
totally.
like, okay, yeah, like.
The thing about New York is it's New York City, and you've seen it so much that you feel like you know it because of the movies and with shows.
And not just
whatever.
Times Square, but like...
everywhere. Everywhere we went, we're in Uber, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is from that one section of Sex and the City. Like, remember that? Oh, this, that, the other thing. Or like, this Sleepless in Seattle or whatever.
The diner from Jerry Seinfeld.
Totally.
Or the cafe from Friends.
100%. Oh my gosh. The Friends apartment. I walked right by it. Carrie Bradshaw's front steps. Sex and the City. Walked right by it.
Holy
it's
shit.
sick. But like everything is so old and amazing and huge. You cannot. It's unfathomable how big Manhattan is.
Yeah, I've heard
it's
that.
Fucked
like
up.
we think that the towers out here are big, and like that's like average size.
It's
in New
stupid.
York.
It's ridiculous. Oh yes, like they're nothing. Vancouver. When we came back, when we drove like home from the airport, like down Cambie, and you get that beautiful view of like the mountains and the ocean and everything. Everything here is glass. You realize?
Yeah, they call it the city of glass, right?
Everything in New York is brick.
Yeah,
It's all old.
yeah.
It's amazing.
That's
We went to the Comedy Cellar.
Oh, sick.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. The amount of legends who have been in that place.
Yeah, so it was we were there on September long weekend, so it was the U.S. Open in the city. So there were famous people everywhere.
Like the golf tournament,
Yeah.
U.S. Open? Where do they go? In New York?
I have no idea.
Probably.
No fucking clue.
No? You don't golf?
No.
Damn, girl.
I'm a horrible golfer.
You don't have to be
I can
good
drive
at
the
it.
cart and drink beer, let me tell you.
Oh, there you go. Like, honestly, like there's an old saying that a lot of the biggest handshakes in business have happened on a golf course, right?
Yeah, well, I better be a cart girl then.
You could be my caddy if you want.
Okay, great.
Come out with me. Yeah.
I want to come to all your launch parties, wrap parties.
There you go.
I'll be your golf caddy.
I'll tell you what,
and I will wine and dine you at my restaurants.
You ever get invited by an exec to go to a golf thing and
You say yes.
you don't want to do it? Just say yes and invite me.
Yeah.
I can help you out.
There,
I'm not a great golfer, but I can suck really bad and make you look really fucking good.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, we went to the Comedy Cellar. And so it was the U.S. Open that weekend, or what? I don't know what it was. The U.S. Open. It was a huge golf situation.
Yeah.
September long weekend, and the Comedy Cellar. The tickets were instantly sold out. I think they go on sale like a month in advance for that month. And when we were like waiting, and they were sold out. So then you just line up and hope that you get in.
Yeah.
So we got in line for the 8:00 show, and I think we didn't get in until the 10:30 seating. But for the 8:00 show, they let everyone in, and then anyone else who's still in line, they'll take your name and number, but you're still not guaranteed a ticket. You have to be back by X time.
Wow.
So they were like, stay close by, because we're not going to wait. We're going to call. And if you don't answer, you're not here, then you're not
I would
coming
be a huge disadvantage. Like, I've always thought about that. Like, there's all these famous places that you can go and stuff, and I am insufferable in a lineup. You will hate me if you have to sit in a lineup.
You can drink in the streets.
What? In New
Yeah,
York?
New York. Same in Vegas. America's crazy.
I do in Vegas. Like, I was stoked to that in Vegas. I didn't think you could do that in New York, though.
You can do it anywhere if you're not a bitch.
If you're not a bit, is he calling me out there? Is that what that is?
No.
I only drink in the parks, okay?
Yeah, but so we were standing in line with the beer, like a brown bag in it. It was great.
Did you get yourself a Manhattan in Manhattan, or?
Yeah, and
Good.
I, of course, had a Cosmopolitan.
Good.
I'm in my martini era.
Well,
I entered my 30s, and I'm like, okay, I can
the
drink
cocktail era for
liquor.
sure. Yeah, man,
Hell yeah. I love a Negroni. That's always been my go-to. I like a very bitter cocktail.
I'm a Boulevardier guy.
I love that.
That's the thing about moving to the city, right? You start to be like, let's go check out these classy joints and like try out some cocktails. Next thing you know, you're like really into mixology. And
Hell
you're
yeah.
Like, fucking, yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm into wine too, though, for sure.
See, I can't do the wine as much. Like I do. Don't get me wrong. I'll have like a Cab Sav with a steak, right? Or like a Malbec maybe.
Sure.
But for me, like, I like old whiskey. I like stuff like that. I just like maybe it's phosphates or something. I can't remember what it is. All I know is that my mom gets red and puffy.
Oh, I get red and
so
puffy
do
too,
I.
but I don't let it stop me. I get covered in a rash.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about liquor. It's just, we know it's poison, and we just
straight up, I'm getting a rash, and I'm like, I'll have another one.
Yeah, exactly. There's this show on Apple TV. It was based off those Nathan Pyle memes with the little blue alien guys who say super obvious shit.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of calling it going for drinks, they say, would you like to ingest mild poison with us?
Nice.
It's like, and that's just like
So
what
true.
they call it.
I know, we've just all decided it's fine.
Yeah, it's like it's the one thing that's fine. Like everything else that could kill you, that alters your mental state, is totally not okay.
Yeah.
But this shit, go ahead.
Get wasted. Who gives a shit?
I mean, who doesn't like to feel like a hero for 4 hours and then wake up the next day feeling like they were the villain?
Well, now there's all these pills.
Yeah.
Like hangover pills. You take them before. And
Do they really work though?
Yes.
What? You're kidding me.
I mean, you can't get absolutely blackout and not be hungover in the morning. But if you're like, I'm going to a thing, I'm like Christmas party season. I had a pack of them last year because I had a bunch of different Christmas parties with work.
Nice.
You take a pill and you drink.
You just put that in the purse right next to the pack of condoms, right? So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't divorced yet, but this year.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we separated in September of last year, so I actually was. I didn't have condoms. I wasn't quite there yet, I think.
Yeah, no, it takes a little while to get back.
It takes a little while to get back in the saddle.
It always feels awkward after a breakup when you have to buy your first box again. You're like, wait.
Order them online.
Yeah. Oh, smart. Okay.
Yeah, there's this female-owned Canadian company. The condoms are called Slip, SLIPP. She's so amazing. I just know her from online. They are like pH balanced. Condoms have horrible things in them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm learning a ton of shit. I'm in my 30s now, everyone.
Yep.
I'm like learning all about the things that like screw your body up.
Yep.
Tampons are full of weird things.
Oh, yeah.
There's tons of stuff. So I never liked wearing condoms because I always was so uncomfortable. They hurt.
They're terrible.
These are pH balanced, chill, female owned company, and I can wear them. And anyways, that's why I ordered them online.
Fucking, you can wear them?
Oh, I can have them used.
Oh, okay.
I don't wear them.
I see. That's. I was gonna say that's revolutionary.
Yeah,
How do they do that? Do they have like?
That's called like a dental dam or something.
Oh,
I feel like.
I don't know where the clamps go though. That just seems uncomfortable.
Yeah, no clamp.
It's a whole process.
Yeah.
We got to get the hardware out.
Put the harness on.
Yeah. For some,
That's a different podcast episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have someone on for that. We'll bring in an expert.
An expert, a sexpert, if you will.
Yeah, I actually know a couple.
That would be fun.
I haven't. I've been playing with that idea. I'm just not sure how much I could get into without making myself look like a total idiot. But then again, that's sort of me anyhow.
Life.
So yeah.
There you go.
I mean, fuck, why not? Ricardo, I think I'm going to give you a call soon. Not this Ricardo recording the thing. There's another Ricardo I know.
Yeah, I would definitely be listening to that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like I'm, in this age now where we can all, and also I think the world's very different. You don't learn a lot in the past. People weren't so sex positive.
No,
we're in like
absolutely,
such a good sex positive place these days.
Oh, yeah, like it's like kink shaming's worse than racism.
Yeah.
You just fucking yeah.
Oh my god!
Like, so what? He wears clown makeup. Fucking let him. Like, who else is gonna like?
Everything's a king.
Yeah. The one good thing that ever came out of Trudeau's mouth was him saying that the government has no place in the bedrooms of the people. And I will stop right there.
Oh god!
I don't get political on this show, so I'm not going to. But that quote has always stayed in my head as like a pretty cool thing to say, especially in the 70s as a world leader. I was well, that's pretty ballin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's this city that we're in too, Vancouver, has kind of always been a beacon of like sexual rights and freedom, right? Like, like right up there with like the movements with Harvey Milk in San Francisco. Vancouver was having its own at the same time.
Yeah, we missed going to Stonewall in New York, but we were close to it.
Really?
I really wanted to go to Stonewall, but
can you fill me in on that? I feel
I will trip my way through it. I do know some, but I don't want to claim to know everything.
Okay.
Stonewall, I think what was 1969 maybe, which was the Stonewall riots. I think that's right because I feel like 2019 it had been 30 years since Stonewall. We can fact check that.
We'll look it up.
The Stonewall riots, New York City, basically it was still illegal to be gay. And there was the Stonewall Inn in New York, and there was drag performances all the time, and it was a gay bar, and the police would show up every single night, shut it down, beat the shit out of people, drag them out, close the place down every night. And one day they were like, "Fuck you, no," and they rioted in the streets. It was the first Pride Parade.
Oh,
that was the first Pride Parade. It was all the like queer people. Drag queens, everything out in the streets saying, "Fuck you. We're here. We're loud and proud. We're not doing this."
Here we're queer, get used to it.
Yeah.
That old saying, that old adage.
And that was the first Pride Parade in America, in North America.
Yeah.
And then they just started having them all over.
Wow.
And, obviously San Francisco is a very queer, positive place.
Yeah.
Harvey Milk, like you just said.
Yeah.
And wherever else, all over.
West Coast seems to have always been like a little bit more lax as far as that stuff goes. I mean, not always, and I am straight white man talking here. Not entirely straight, but somewhere more on the masculine side of that spectrum of things. As far as I know, or what I've seen, and like my perspective on it all is like out in the West here. I think it's just because it was so late to be colonized, like in like a more traditional sense. Like when New York City was happening, the Wild West was like no man's land kind of thing, right? And like people didn't tell other people what to do because you just get shot and no one would find out you're dead, right? So like people were just kind of more willing to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do before we had more people out here, right? But that mentality always kind of stuck around, and I feel like it was a little more traditional back when it was the Wild West. It was like property rights and shit like that, people shooting each other over gold or whatever. But it gets to a certain point where it's my life. I'm going to live it how I want to. And you
Mhm.
can either respect that or get the fuck out.
Mhm.
And that's kind of carried along as an attitude throughout the decades. As much as we've tried to set regulations and laws against certain lifestyle choices and stuff, there's always been this underground vibe about it's my fucking life. Leave me
Yeah.
alone and, fuck off. Like, take the pride movement, sure, but also the weed movement out here,
Mhm.
like, that was people's livelihoods. And
Mhm.
it still is in a sense, even though now it's more illegal to grow weed without these certain, like, at least on a massive scale, without certain permits and stuff. But like, my wife, her summers were spent in the weed valleys of Lillooet growing up.
Mhm.
Her big chunk of her family used to crop out end of the year and go to Mexico for the other half of the year, come back and do it all over again, right? And it was something that didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of the weed activism, was nobody's overdosing here. We're not getting in these big fights and shit. It's my fucking life.
Yeah.
Respect it or fuck off. And like, I feel like that's something that's been prominent here. Like, maybe not so much in some aspects. Like, a lot of people are trying really hard to be, like we were talking before, influencers and stuff like that, and trying to fit this mold. But I really enjoy the attitude of individuality that seems to be emphasized in Vancouver.
For sure. I think like there's bad people everywhere. I say that, all the time. People are like, I can't believe you traveled to Mexico. Like, aren't you scared? I'm like, that's an insane thing to say. There's bad people everywhere.
Yeah.
There's bad people in Vancouver. There's always going to be people who are, they have like an anti-trans march a little while ago in downtown Vancouver.
Yeah,
And
I
there were
heard
like
about
10
that.
fucking people there.
Yeah.
Like, come on, y'all. You don't have jobs to be at?
Yeah.
This is a bit embarrassing.
Well, exactly. And like, it's 10 people. Like, fucking.
But 10 people matter. Everyone's got a voice now.
Yeah.
You can be online.
That's true. Yeah.
Everyone's got a voice.
Do you think the push on, like, I'm not trans rights. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. That's not really important. But I think that, this is me doing that fucking word thing that I'm bad with.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Trans rights are very important.
Trans rights are important. But
yes.
what I'm trying to get at is there seems to be a bit of a thing where people who disagree with other people would rather the people they disagree with just cease to exist or not be allowed to say the things they want to say.
I hoped that you were going to get here.
You did? Okay, good. Because I'm interested on your perspective as this too, as like a professional working woman, right? There's, that there seems to be this attitude that we can no longer coexist with people we disagree with. And
Totally.
if they don't hop on board with what your idea of what society should be like is, then they should not have any right to express themselves at all. But in my opinion, and from what I've seen, given all the shit that's happened in the world, the more you try to silence a part of society you disagree with, they will recede into echo chambers, and they will get louder and louder amongst each other until it just explodes, and often violently. I'm interested in your take on that though, because like, I know that the world has changed; it's more progressive now, but I have an auntie who has multiple Woman of the Year business awards and came up in the real estate market sector back in like the 70s and 80s. Like, climbed the corporate ladder and ended up being the VP of Sunlight Financial Investments Bureau and shit like that. And like, she was big time chick. Sorry, I'm barefoot right now.
I'm into it.
Funky, right? And I'm hoping to have her on the podcast at some point. But I'm just interested because like, it seems that women constantly do end up having to put in the extra effort that normally guys just wouldn't have to.
This is two conversations
I
right
know.
now what
Yeah.
we're having.
Yeah.
You're
But-
asking two questions.
It's the deficit. That's what I do. I'm on a whole different, because I feel like they're kind of related. Like, there are lots of people who still would think that women belong in a fucking house as like a child rearing homemaker, right? And that they should stay out of the business. And that's something that obviously, most of us would disagree with. Do you think those people should be just shut away and like right? Like,
I think that there are two realities in this conversation.
Okay.
I think that we've definitely gone too far, and that, like you were saying, like, well, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, then you're wrong, and you don't deserve that. And people are able to have their own opinions, and we might not align on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the world works. We're all different. Everyone's unique. People were raised differently. People have different values. People think differently. People learn differently. And if these two opinions aren't hurting someone,
yeah,
and they're not trying to take over the government, or God, whatever it is,
they're not preaching violence and
exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to tell me that the sky is green, then go for it.
The earth is flat.
Whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you're not telling me that I have to also think that, and you're not hurting someone, then what? Who cares? I don't care. I can't listen to that. I've got too much shit going on.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then on the other hand, these people that preach to you and are like, no, it's this, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, you're wrong. These people don't deserve to live. They don't deserve to work. They don't deserve to be here. Whatever that looks like. Well, I'm sorry, but that's just wrong. That's not true. Everyone has the right to live how they want, as long as they're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
I think.
So I think we can agree on the old adage of just don't be a fucking dick.
Don't be a dick. I don't understand why anyone
cares so
much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm sorry. And half these motherfuckers that are out here saying, like, gay sex is a sin.
Yeah.
Y'all like anal, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Every dude is trying to put a finger in his wife's ass. Let's be serious.
A lot more than a finger.
Exactly.
And a lot of those guys are getting their wife to put their finger in their ass. Let's be honest here. It's much more.
Come on. I think the world would be a better place if we could just talk openly about sex. About beliefs.
100%.
About just like fucking money.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Everyone's so shamed and worried to have an opinion. Oh, and another thing, it's become hard to ask questions.
Yeah.
People are down each other's throats. Like, well, that's not this, or that's not how you say that, or they don't want to be called that. They use these pronouns, or, well, what are pronouns, and how does that work? You have to give people grace. People don't know.
Yes.
We have access to so much information, which leads to so much misinformation. And yes, we're more connected than we've ever been. And it feels like there are more different types of people than there have ever been. But the fact of the matter is, we just see it more. Yeah, there were trans people. There were drag queens. There were, everything and anything. They've always been there.
Yeah, it's just that the ones who were able to be open about it, or had the courage, I guess, to come out when it wasn't accepted, like, there's a lot, you can see them more. Yeah. And it makes more people feel okay with expressing themselves how they want to be. You know?
Yeah. Have you watched the show We're Here?
No, I haven't actually. No.
So good.
Yeah?
HBO. It's Shangela, Bob the Drag Queen.
I loves me some gay cinema. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah?
I watched Halston recently. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Ewan McGregor as the hat designer. Oh my fucking God. The story was just amazing. I don't know. Maybe it's just like
people are scared of what they don't know and what they don't understand.
I'm fascinated by it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just maybe take a step back.
Yeah.
And people are just people. We're all just humans. Everyone's just trying to get a fucking paycheck.
Well, that's
go through the days.
Yeah.
Like, why do you care? These people that are like picket on the fucking front lines about telling other people how they can live. I'm like, really?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Don't you have some of your own issues? Maybe we could sort out.
Why don't you go talk to them instead of just hearing it from Ben Shapiro or something?
So that's what We're Here is.
Yeah.
It's 3 drag queens. Eureka, Shangela, and Bob the Drag Queen, and they go to like fucking rural Midwest America.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And they find all the queer people in that community that are hidden, whatever. And at the end of the week, they throw a huge drag show. And they're like, fuck you, we're here. These people were here.
Yeah.
They were in your community. They are people you know. It's the baker down the street. It's the kid in school, and some of them are people that are very much out on the front lines saying, before the show comes to town. We're here, like a mom who's running the rainbow, trying to get a rainbow crosswalk in town. Those people. So they just come and they give them a platform. We're here.
That's fucking
We're not
amazing.
going away.
That's really good.
It's a great show.
We need more stuff like that.
It's really good.
The more the world can see an introspective look on like any of these communities that they are afraid of, don't know much about or anything like that, the better the world will get. Honestly, like education is the only answer to like fucking any of this bigotry that's going on.
Yeah.
People just need to understand that like the only real answer in life is fucking love. And like I don't mean to sound like such a hippie, even though I do. I was raised by a rock loving mother who just like used to do all that shit. Reiki healed me when I was sick and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
The vibration of love is just the answer. It's like, it sounds corny to a lot of people. I'm really happy that it sounds corny to less people now because we're starting to understand that a lot more, especially like if you look at where science is going, they're starting to study how harmonic resonance is affected by emotion, which is like your state of being and the vibration you function at is literally changed depending on what emotion you're experiencing, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be vibrating at a much higher frequency if you're experiencing feelings of love, gratitude, happiness, satisfaction, right? If you're angry, sad, depressed, anxious, those are all very low vibrational frequencies, right? Your body is physically at its molecular level vibrating at like a lower frequency. And that's like, you know how you can feel bad vibes?
Yeah.
That's your body picking up on that. People used to think that like that's just fucking whatever, it's all in your head. But we're starting to figure out things that ancient cultures already knew and we thought was just hoopla or whatever, like kooky spiritual shit. That like we exist.
I love me some kooky spiritual shit.
But that's the thing. And like
I'm the girl who's always like, when's your birthday? Oh my God, you're such a Gemini. So annoying. But I am, and I believe it.
What's your sign? I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, like it's just I'm really happy and appreciative of that. When I focus on gratitude, one of the main things that I think of is that I'm happy to be living in an era and a time where science is slowly starting to understand that it's not as far from spirituality as it thinks it is. That the journey of science is ultimately going to come to this unification point where we find out that all this stuff that we were talking about spiritually nowadays or thousands of years ago, we're just trying to find like what kind of material those exact things are made of anyhow. You know, it's like, we know that you like to wear this shirt, but is it cotton or poly or what's the blend? You know, it's like that same attitude. It's kind of wonderful, really, because when you start to understand that the world works on vibrations and that you can alter the world around you by existing on a higher vibration.
Totally.
You know, it can motivate people, I hope at least, to do exactly that. You know, it's not about hate. The people who preach hate have just experienced so much of it in their lives that they don't know anything else.
Totally.
You know, and they're mad about communities that are so full of love.
I think the thing that we need to remind ourselves, and that I'm learning now, like I'm reading this book called Detached. It's about it's about attachment styles, not adult attachment styles. And just like we thought for so long, like, oh, you were raised in a household where, you know, X, Y, and Z, like you're in your relation. If you were raised in an abusive household, you'll be an abusive partner or whatever, like nature versus nurture, all those things. But the attachment styles I'm really getting, because you kind of are just like born that way in a sense. Like it's not, if you weren't held as a child, you don't want to be held as an adult. The attachment styles are avoidant, anxious, and secure.
Yeah.
And just what I'm getting at is I just wish that we would learn more about those things at a younger age.
Yeah.
I maybe would have missed being in the relationship I was in, or getting married, and we didn't put in the work. People aren't putting in the work to like build relationships on a good ground level. It needs to be taught in schools, in the home, in whatever, so that we can learn to speak to each other, to have differing opinions, and to talk about them.
Absolutely. Like fucking Thanksgiving dinner, right?
God.
Your family's always got different opinions, but they still come back to that same table every year, probably have the same fucking conversation, right? But they do it every year because at the end of the day, it's your family. And when you zoom out, we kind of all are family. We're all floating on this fucking rock together anyhow, right? Like, why would we make it any worse than it needs to be? Why can't we focus on just making it better instead of focusing on these details that really don't fucking matter?
People just get obsessive about what they don't like.
Yeah. It's crazy. I think that maybe that has to do with evolution, right? Like, they say that, like, you remember 80% of the things you do wrong,
well,
right?
everyone leaves a bad review, but they don't leave a good one.
Exactly. It's like being a server, right? You know, you'll hear from your management and everybody if that table had a terrible night. But if they tip you 25% and tell you they love the service, chances are they're just going to go home and be like, that was great. No one's going to fucking hit up Google for that.
Well, we're really pushing. I mean, yes, you're totally right. People push for that now. They go, did you enjoy your experience? Please leave a good review, because we live in a world where people are not willing to go unless they're like, oh, well, doesn't have 5 stars.
Is that the Babylon?
Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
It's not 90%. I'm not watching it.
I know.
Everyone's different.
Yeah. That's like, exactly. So what if I want to watch a campy fucking action movie? Let me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to have like Oscar award winning acting skills. I want explosions and flipping cars and shit. You know?
Some days you might want Oscar award winning, and some days you don't.
Yeah.
People aren't willing to go and try.
Yeah. And that's I love this. This is a good chat. You have a very good and intriguing perspectives on things, and really, like, it's cool to talk to you again. Like, I know that we were in high school, we were friends and stuff like that, but I don't think we ever actually had a chance when we were younger to actually just sit and like have a chat like this.
I was always crying about Brody or something.
Yeah, I was just fucking everywhere all the time.
Yeah, you were friends with everyone.
Yeah, that was my anxiety. I figured that out afterwards. It was just
the crying was mine.
Yeah. The constant need of acceptance from everyone because you don't really feel it in your household as much. That whole thing, you know. Yeah, after that, like, the identity crises that come from being the guy who's just friends with everybody is complicated and strange, because you have spent the entire developmental part of your youth being the guy who's just friends with everybody instead of thinking, what kind of guy do I want to be?
Wow.
Right? Like, that's why I ended up in a dead-end career in construction. That's why I did film industry was job number 23. You know, it was a lot. Didn't go to university because, like, I just wanted to go to work, make money, and, you know, all that other bullshit. Like, wanted to be a social guy, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like, honestly, at 30, I haven't felt more secure in who I am ever. Yeah. I had a friend tell me, he goes, last year when I was working with him on a project called Motherland, or maybe it was the year before that. His name's Cowboy, Alex Judd. Shout outs to Cowboy. Wicked guy. He's not actually a cowboy, though.
Okay.
Dresses like one every time he comes to work. Trench coat, hat, whole 9 yards, even the gloves and shit. He's even got a gun holster that he puts his walkie in.
That's an identity.
Oh, yeah. Big time. It was a whole thing. I was like, he was telling me he's turning 30. I was like, oh, fuck, man. How do you feel about that? He's like, actually, I'm pretty excited. I was like, why? He's like, well, you know, going through your teens, you're like, I want to be this. Maybe I want to be that. Maybe I want to be this. I think I want to be this, right? And then you get into your 20s and you start realizing you're not that yet. And you start thinking, well, maybe I'm this or that, or maybe I'm this guy, or maybe I'm the guy who does this. And then you hit 30 and it's just, fuck it, I'm me.
Totally.
You know, like,
I've always wanted to be 30.
Yeah.
I used to always pretend to be older. I'd fake my age to be older, tell people I was older, and I could not wait to turn 30.
Yeah, and hey, fucking cheers to being 30 without the kids yet.
Oh, fuck that.
Got out of that.
No way. I never wanted kids.
Oh my god, I used to say by like, oh, I'll have kids when I'm like 30. And then I'm
right?
Turn 30, I'm like, what? No.
No. Absolutely not.
I think out of my close friend group back in Kamloops, when I maybe me and 2 other people didn't have children before the age of 25, 21 even. I'm an uncle to so many kids back in Kamloops. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, like, all to them, they're doing their best, and like,
How do people afford it?
beats me.
I don't have many vices. I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I do travel, but not lavishly. I don't know how people take care of tiny humans. I don't get it.
Just grit, I think.
I guess.
I don't know. Like, a couple of my friends are pretty good parents. One that I really never thought, but is Josh Beauclair. Yes. The identity crisis that came with wanting to be Mr. Popular.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to be Mr. Popular?
No, I just didn't want anyone to hate me. I didn't really care about if I was friends with everybody. I don't know. I liked being nice. I liked to be fun. I liked smiling. I liked making people smile.
What was your perception of me in high school? Because my perception of you in high school
was
that you were this, like, not that you weren't confident, that you were like, you were friends with everyone. You were like the guy who brought us all together. Like, Adam was so great and so nice that he was just pals with everyone. Not that you didn't feel like you fit in anywhere.
I've never been told that by anyone I went to high school
with.
What? Yeah.
No. Oh my God.
I've heard a lot that I was friends with everyone. That's really cool. But like the way you just described that was actually really nice. I appreciate that.
I truly think that. I felt like you just were the guy that we all loved and knew, and you were friends with everyone.
I thank you. I appreciate that greatly.
You got invited to all the parties.
I did. Yeah. I always felt like I was a fucking bit of a weirdo. Everywhere I went, like all the I was. I played guitar, I smoked a lot of weed, I was a jock, I fucking
you did
all that stuff, right? And like every one of those groups, I still felt like I wasn't quite either elite enough to be in there or that like I just didn't fit in some way. I don't know, it was weird. It felt good to know that I was liked, I guess.
Yeah.
Was good. It was one of the things that helped me to blanket my insecurities quite a bit, but it was it was a strange time in high school. My perception of you was that you were kind of like the upper echelon alpha female type to me. Like, I don't know, you were always like one of the popular chicks, and not in like a bad way either. Like, there's like the mean girls popular chicks, but you were like just cool, and you were always so nice. You were the first person, I remember this specifically, the first time I cut my hair short, because I always had this long stuff. Yeah. I remember, I think it was grade 10, maybe it was grade 9, but I was coming out of one of the classrooms, walking down the hall, and I heard someone go, "Oh, that's Adam Aubrey." And I turned around, and she's like, "Oh, you got a haircut." I was like, yeah. She's like, "You're hot now." I was like, "Oh my God, cool." And it was like the first time I'd gotten a compliment from any woman that I thought of as like upper tier,
Oh my God.
For real. I was like, from like the time, and
he never grew his hair long again.
Bingo. No, for real.
Oh
like
God.
You're totally on. I got in so much shit when I came home from that haircut because my mom was just like insistent on me having long hair. She's just weird like that. I don't know. But my auntie was my hairdresser at the time, her sister, and she got on the phone to my auntie and started getting mad at her about it. And I just remember being like, "Mom, I like it. Like, let me keep my hair like this. This is cool. Like, whatever." And like, it was a big step for me, I guess, was doing that. And you were the first one who like acknowledged it and made me feel like it was actually like sexy. I always felt like a short, fat, greasy kid.
No.
Up until that point. Frankly. Yeah, no, like really, like that was the first moment I actually felt like maybe I'm not just this little tubby loser. Like,
oh
yeah,
my
really
God.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad then.
Yeah. Like, your opinions held weight in my mind, especially when they were like about me or people around you. Like, I always liked talking with you. Yeah, you seemed like a pretty cool chick. I mean, like, it was high school, so you always think of people in cliques and stuff, right? Definitely with like the prim and proper popular girls, right? But I felt like you were the one who kind of like was like the Lindsay Lohan of the Mean Girls sort of deal.
Yeah, I could be mean, so thank you for not thinking I was mean.
We all were. In high school, that's how it is.
Jordy McMecken.
Yeah.
He said as similar-ish, like when he came back in grade 12, and I was like, Jordy's hanging out with us now.
He was all
was
beefed
like-
out too. He got
Yeah, but he was my grad date.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I brought him in. I was like, no, he's cool. Thank you. Like, he's coming to our parties.
People used to give him a really hard time. I felt bad.
I hated
about
him
it.
in grade 8.
He was a tough guy to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all grow up differently, right? There is something. I mean, like, I wouldn't be happy if my parents were putting me in daycare for that long either. It's like,
No doubt.
you could see that he was pissed off that he had to go to that thing at like the age of 14, having to
Fucking
go
wild,
fucking.
man. People are crazy.
Man, like, there's just.
We're all just trying to get through the day.
Yeah, and we were raised by some really fucking, really strange era. Like, we were the children of parents who came from the quote unquote me generation.
Yeah.
Right? I am not your fucking trophy. Like, you know, they used to try and parade us around like we were like their success stories instead of like people. And it was kind of toxic.
I know. Yeah. I mean, everyone I know. Are your parents still together?
Oh, fuck no.
No, I didn't think so. They haven't been for a long time. Like, they weren't in high school either, right?
They got a divorce in my grad year. I fucking went from being in like a semi-stable. I thought we were rich at one point because, like, Christmas was like presents out to the end of the living room. You had to climb over the things just to get to the couch, and it was great. And then, like, parents would always fight about how much money they spent on it for the rest of the day. And then, they finally split up, and I spent my grad year working part-time at Moore's as a wardrobe consultant selling suits. And I went from what felt like rich to food bank and welfare like that. And I am grateful for it because I had a very naive perspective on the world until I started to experience struggle for myself. Mm-hmm. And my dad almost immediately ran into health issues. He started having strokes, got his first round of cancer, then heart problems. It's only gotten worse since then. So for a long time, it was just me and my dad in this basement suite.
Did you live by Caitlin Toplack?
Yeah, that house at the end of her
that was your
cul-de-sac.
house,
That was
right?
my place. Yeah, that was my childhood home. Still
Yeah.
there. My mom still lives there.
Is she? No way.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking... I remember when there was a Jersey Shore party in high school because that show was everywhere.
Me and Caitlin threw that.
Yeah.
Me and Caitlin, Michelle, and Alexa.
I remember there's a picture from it on my Facebook where everyone's like posed up and I'm like down there like a douche doing the heartbreak kid fucking thing. I didn't even have biceps then. I don't know why I was doing it, but...
I was fully dressed as Snooki. Me and Josh Boyclair got spray tans.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious. You guys were so orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's... Yeah, fucking...
I just rewatched Jersey Shore.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
If you were a Jersey Shore character, you think Snooki?
Snooki.
Yeah? Immediately?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It looks... Because she's short and all the things. But, I mean, I feel like I would also probably be Sammy Sweetheart. Unfortunately.
Really? Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm in love. Like, this is my guy. And then, like, trying to fight anyone who got anywhere near him. Toxic.
There's that protective vibe. I think it's the alpha female thing, right?
It's not ideal.
I always thought I wanted to be Mike the Situation for sure. I know, right?
Have you heard about how his life panned out?
Oh, no. Well, yes, that's why I'm glad I didn't end up like that. I also have never headbutted a concrete wall trying to intimidate somebody and ended up in the hospital, so I think it's all pretty good. That show
you were never a fighter in high school.
No, I did a lot of combat sports when I was younger, but I never wanted to
You had
fight.
bigger friends.
I
Josh
did.
and Brody were big
Josh
guys.
and Brody were big guys. I was really good friends with them.
Yeah.
I did get in a couple like scraps, but I never really needed to. Like anybody who tried to fight me, I remember I got in a toss up in a high school locker room, and it was in my grade 11 year, and that was the year I qualified for nationals in wrestling. And I don't want to put his name out there because he's a good guy. He was going through his own shit too, right? But he tried to put me down in a headlock in the locker room, and with just my neck, I picked him up parallel. And next thing you know, his fucking his feet were against the locker behind him, and I had him like this, and I was about to just toss him over the fucking bench, and he just let go and dropped off me right away. He's like, "Nope, I'm not gonna do that." I was like, "Yeah, okay, thanks."
Good call.
Yeah, I wasn't like, I don't know. For me, it was like, if I was going to say anything that sounded like I was acting tough or Go away. I'm sorry about that. If I was trying to do anything that sounded like I was acting tough when I was just sticking up for myself or anything, immediately I was the guy with short man syndrome. Immediately I was like the little dude trying to fucking be bigger than I was or some shit. I just wasn't. It's almost like my aspect of short man syndrome was fear of displaying short man syndrome. So I just fucking never did. Like it was a whole thing. And like when I got into like my wrestling and like I did taekwondo for 6 years too, and like, you know, with football and the other sports like that, but wrestling was really the thing that helped me feel okay with that. It was the ability to physically control a situation, and learn how to do that and how to keep a calm head. I don't know if did you ever do any combat sports when you were younger? So
I'm not a sports girly.
Yeah, well, you and Cedar were getting along great. There's something to be said about what it does for your psyche and your sense of security. For me, the biggest thing was that in Taekwondo, it's good. There's like discipline, whatever you want to call it. You learn how to kick things. It's fun. You get your belts. But it's really more of a showy thing. There's not a lot of real world applications. Like I can't just go for a spinning head kick in the middle of a street fight, right? Like you can, you got to be really fucking good though, right? In wrestling though, fuck, that's real. That shit was real. People like used to make fun of you for being gay, wearing these little spandex singlets and shit.
So shitty.
But when you get in a fucking on the mat with these guys and it's just you versus him, there's no team with you, and it fucking hurts. You're getting slammed. You're getting your face rubbed into the mat, like all kinds of shit, right? And the intensity of it is still to this day on another level. Whenever I go back to my MMA gym, I almost purposely avoid grappling nights just because, like, the type of cardio you have to deal with that.
Oh, yeah.
Another level. Like in boxing, anything else involving striking, you can back off and try and catch your breath and move. In jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling, you're under constant stress.
Yeah.
You're being
like,
you're fighting for it 24/7, and well, not 24/7, but the entire time, right? For like that 2-minute round or 3-minute round, you're literally just, it's nuts. There's no point where your brain goes, time to breathe. It's like you just need to be trained to be able to breathe under constant pressure. And that was huge for me in so many other aspects of life. And I think that is what kept me from ending up being a typical short man syndrome thing. It saved me in more ways than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
It taught me that I could, be a lot more capable of things than I thought I was built to be capable of.
Yeah.
I wrestled 2 weight classes above mine at one point. It was just to wrestle bigger guys. I don't know. It's a whole thing. To end this incredibly long tangent that I just went off on. I didn't scrap much in high school. It wasn't a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Did you end up getting in fights? I don't remember you getting in fights.
I got in a fair few.
Yeah?
A fair few. I got suspended in high school for fighting.
I do remember that. So were you a scrappy little short girl then, eh? Nice. Yeah. Doing West Side proud. That's good.
Jeez. I don't know. I just used to get so mad. And I don't let myself get there anymore. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when I got in that fight in high school, the girl had been telling everyone she was going to beat the shit out of me. And my mom that day was like, you can't go to school. Like the principal phoned us. And they were like, hey, as you know, this person's been saying she's going to fight Mercedes and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm fucking going. I can't not go.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So I went to school and she walked by me and like smashed my books out of my hands and kept walking. What are you supposed to do in that situation?
It's on, bitch.
It's fucking on. Yeah. I just remember Mr. Porter, because it was in Jock Hall.
Yep.
And between classes, everyone's like, fight.
Mr. Porter, basketball coach.
Yeah.
6'3", 6'5".
So tall.
Yep.
Handsome, younger, and I remember just like couldn't touch us to break us apart. So he was just like, stop, girls. girls, stop, please,
Yeah.
please. But couldn't touch us because he couldn't. And
Yeah.
Miss Berger and Mrs. Newman came out.
Yeah.
Like, fucking girls.
Yeah. Wild.
But it was like 2 days before May Long weekend. So I got suspended. And I just had an extra long May Long.
Holy shit. What kind of things do you think you've learned that have helped you to like mitigate that reaction? You know, you said you were an angry girl and you used to just fucking get really fucking mad. What's helped you to not?
I think I realized so much of that was anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm super anxious. I always have been. I have never, like, I've been diagnosed like with anxiety disorder. I was in therapy a lot when I was like 4 years old for anxiety. I would have crazy panic attacks, throw up couldn't keep food down, couldn't go to school, couldn't do anything. And I feel like my anxiety would manifest itself in really different ways that wouldn't look like you were nervous or scared or anxious. I would just get so mad or so this or so that or whatever. And I need things to be just so. And if things aren't going according to plan or if this didn't happen that way or whatever, I like to control the situation. Hence freelancing, hence owning your own company. I didn't have to deal with a lot of annoying things because I'm in control all the time, which is also not great and something I've been working on. But I think realizing like, okay, you just need to take a step back, think a little bit about what's the outcome here.
Yeah.
Keep your fucking mouth shut for 5 minutes. First of all, I've got a loud mouth. Yappy.
Like a Shih Tzu or something.
A little Chihuahua.
Yeah. Oh, even worse.
A little
Okay.
spicy Mexican Chihuahua.
I see. Yeah.
And just shut up for 5 minutes.
Okay.
I think I've really tried to hear people's side, realize that everyone's fighting their own battle. You know, I think of situations I've been in where I've been a horrible person or, you know, like being a bitch, I've said the wrong thing, all of that. It wasn't about that situation. It was about 10 other ones. And so just really trying to remember everyone's got their own story. Everyone's trying to deal with this. Like I've said over and over, we're all just trying to get through the fucking day.
Everyone is the main character in their own movie, right? That's and you know, there's a lot to be said with that too, with the whole like just shutting up, you know, because when you're talking, you're not listening.
Totally.
And the more you listen, the more you learn, right?
Totally.
Yeah, that's a pretty helpful tool. So what would you tell other girls going through that right now? Like, there's obviously lots of women growing up, going through high school, dealing with all sorts of anxiety.
Yeah. I think really, like, you can, whatever the saying is, like, you can catch more bees with, like, honey than water or whatever.
Catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
There you go.
Yeah.
I always fuck up sayings. I say
Yep.
them incredibly wrong. Always. All the time. Fuck.
Bring a man a fish and you can teach him how to fish.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Bring a man a fishing rod and he'll still go fishing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, like, just try to sit down and listen. People need to listen more.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't feel like there's a place for you in your school, in your job, in, you know, wherever where that's happening, make it. Be that place. Find that place. Create it yourself. Find a group online and talk to them and start meetups. Like, I'm in tons of different groups because of my job, and like I see lots of different things online, and you know, there are places. There are women that are like, hey, I just moved to Vancouver and I don't have any friends and I don't really know anyone and this city's kind of mean and hard to meet people. Like, I'm trying to host a coffee meetup. We'll all be at this place at noon on Tuesday and you all go have coffee, and maybe you don't like anyone at that and you don't, but maybe there's some other girl down the road who comes next week, and you know, just, I don't know.
That's really good. So you're hosting these things?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not.
But I've seen them online.
Oh, I
but
see.
I could host one.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, it probably takes a lot.
Pretty busy.
To host it. Yeah. Sounds like it
I
needs
don't have time.
Yeah, you probably.
But I would go to one.
Yeah.
I'll come.
Yeah, support.
Yeah.
Be a support factor.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that we're all so quick to judge and to hate, and I've been in that position as well. And like, the younger generations of people are exposed to so much more, which can be scary and a problem, but it can also be hugely beneficial. You are exposed to so much more. Create your own opinions. Find your people.
Yeah.
Don't stand for what you don't believe in. If you know, I don't know.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. There's a pub on Main Street called The American, and their slogan is "Don't be a dick."
Really, that's cool.
It's great.
The American. I don't think I've been there yet. I went to
There's lots of arcade games there.
Oh, cool. I'd probably be down then. There's I was just there. I was there for a acid jazz and funk gig a little while ago for a friend of mine named Graham Howe. I just had him on the show last week. He's got a band called and it sound like a company and a music project called House Sound. He's like a fucking super decorated musician. Like grew up playing trumpet from the age of 4. Went to like full on degree in music theory, like jazz extraordinaire. Does all kinds of experimental stuff. Knows the tiniest pieces and bits of all the equipment, like from speakers to microphones, all that shit. And he had where was that place? He had a gig at this place and it was amazing.
Fortune Sound Club?
No, it was it was right next to a like a tapas Mexican restaurant.
On Main Street?
Yeah, it was on Main Street.
It's next to Bodega?
I think so.
The big red sign hanging outside that says Bodega vertically?
No.
We're going to get there.
It starts with a P.
lot of restaurants.
It starts with a P. Yeah, that'd be something. Ryan, help me out here. If you're out there, feel free to come on the God line and give me the name because we're going to figure this out.
We can get there.
It
was a music venue. Or the restaurant started with a P.
It was a restaurant.
And the restaurant started with a P?
Yeah, and it does music there as well.
On Main Street.
On Main Street.
How far up Main Street?
Not too far, but like I'd say middle of the road sort of thing. Across the street was like a bowling alley and an Army Vets.
Oh, Tocador?
Next to Tocador.
Next to Tocador is...
It's the something room.
Yeah.
It's the...
Yeah. It's the... Oh my God, it's Main and 10th.
Yeah, it's the
Cascade Room.
There you go. That's it. It's not a P, it's a C. Yep. That's exactly it though. And
Cascade Room's great.
Yeah, and Simply Delicious.
Yeah.
You been there?
Yep.
Yeah, fucking good food there. I did spend a lot of time on Commercial. I've been to Maine a couple times, but like the Harbor Oyster Bar on Commercial. Goddamn. What? Not a big fan of oysters? Yeah. Yeah.
Not a big fan of Harbor.
Really?
No, they're good guys.
Were you there a couple times?
No, I used to live on the drive. They're good guys.
Cool.
They own Social as well on the drive.
Mm-hmm.
Ari is a nice man. He's got a great wife and kids, and they're so sweet. I follow them on Instagram. When I first started freelancing, I would go to Social a lot because I didn't have good Wi-Fi. Oh. I have a beautiful rooftop patio.
Cool.
So I'd just sit upstairs and crush wine and
nice
do my work. That's the best part about freelancing, laptop lifestyle.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle I envy. I really do.
It's the best.
I have to look into doing some more fucking digital nomad stuff. I'm just useless when it comes to fucking software though. Like I did not excel in that realm of things. I'm great with ideas.
There you go. You're the ideas guy.
Things like that. It's just hard for me to learn the details are so hard for me.
Then you don't have to.
But I'm detail obsessed. Well, I can't do. Well, I guess I could. Maybe AI or something. I'm not really sure. Like,
that's one thing I used to tell all my clients. Like, are people that are like trying to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got to do this. You've got to get this done. If you aren't good at something, hire someone else to do it.
Yeah.
The amount of time that you're spending, time, energy, all of it that you are spending trying to figure this out, to get it done, hating doing it, that you don't want to do it, it's dragging you down. Hire someone to do it. I understand that that's not necessarily possible for everybody, but there are tons of people out there looking for jobs. Even if you do someone who, like, on a Fiverr situation, someone who, like, lives in India that needs the money and gets the job done overnight.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to do things you don't want to do or that you're not good at.
Yeah, that's true. The digital nomad lifestyle has always been something that I've, like, envied quite a bit. A guy I know, Nathan Ergang, Dylan's older brother, he's been all over the world for the last like 8 years now. He calls me on WhatsApp and stuff. We chat once in a while, but like he met a woman in Vietnam and they like lived together and all this other stuff. But he's always just like doing like, you know, software design or like website design or like all kinds of shit. He's got his own like travel channel on YouTube now and stuff. It's like just looks amazing. It'll be great. The nomadic thing check in a laptop, do some stuff for like an hour or two.
Alexa Facette does that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Travels the world. She's in Bali right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wicked. That globe-trotting.
Yeah, Caitlin Toplak's a doctor. Michelle's an accountant.
I heard Caitlin's a doctor now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So what did you think you were going to be when you were getting older? Like when you were in high school, you were like, I'm going to be this when you were growing up. Like I know you talk about graphic design, but did you always want to be a graphic design person, or what was your...
I think like grade 10, 11, and 12, 'cause I was in yearbook.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved
Okay.
yearbook. I loved being the editor.
By the way, I really need to pick a bone with you on this slight I got in the grad year.
What?
What was it? The most changed from like grade 8 to grade 12. You guys gave it to Brent Kelly, also great guy. But what the hell, man?
Yeah, with your hair. I mean,
my hair, and I was like 4 foot nothing and round, and I got to 13% body fat.
I think the grade 12 everyone voted.
Oh, okay, they voted, sure.
And
everyone voted for Biden too. I'm sure it's the whole thing.
Everyone voted. That was not me.
Yeah, well, I'd agree to disagree, just to protect my own ego. Okay?
Fair enough.
It was sensitive back then. There was a lot going on.
Brent and Sam got married and have a bunch of kids.
I know that. Yeah, they were the first one that I thought were gonna do exactly that. They're very happy people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of like high school stuff I'm supposed to be talking about on podcasts.
I know. I've been thinking this a lot.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like we're just right? Like, I mean, sure. We're like, it's just a lot of that. I was interested in like, I don't know. I wanted to hear more about like you, like your life and stuff. Like what?
Well, in high school, I loved yearbook,
and
I definitely knew I wanted to like do something there. Like the design, the process of it is so interesting. Like in yearbook in high school, I don't know how they do it now.
Yeah.
But we had really strict deadlines because when you are printing something at a high volume, they're not printing, of course. Like when you look at a book and each thing is like a little section and it's sewn together.
Yeah.
What is this? This is like bookbinding, the spine. When you look at the spine of the book, it's all sewn together, and so we would have to give installments of like each quarter to the printers. So you're not actually, we'd have to work on like the first little bit and the last little bit because that's the actual piece of paper it is.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I understand. Yep.
And so we'd have this entire map. So in grade 11 and 12, I was the editor of the yearbook. So it would be all written out and we would draw our designs and you'd have which pages would go on which section and where everything was going to be mapped out. So we really got to learn about like how this was actually made. Right after high school, I actually came down to Vancouver and did a tour at BCIT because I thought I wanted to get into like publishing and bookbinding and design and all of that because I just found it so interesting.
But not like journalism or anything like that?
I definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it and I watched like Parts Unknown and all that with my mom.
Yeah, you definitely strike me as someone who could be a writer.
For sure. I've liked writing. I do write. I feel like I've lost it a little bit in that I don't have to write as much anymore. But I agree. Yeah. I definitely something artistic. I always knew I would be like a journalist or something. I sang a lot in high school. I always wanted to be a singer.
Cool. So not to cut it off or anything, but like I'm kind of interested in that side of you. Like I don't remember ever getting to see an artistic side of Mercedes. Like I knew you were a go-getter and shit like that. And you're always fucking moving, making big money moves and shit, right? You're a hustler. But like what happens when you got nothing to do? Like what do you do to keep your like creativity moving? Like
I think that's a big I mean sometimes it's really hard when you're in a job that's a creative job because there are days when you don't feel creative.
Yeah, you just want to.
I don't feel like doing this. I don't have any idea.
Video games for a while, whatever.
We'll do whatever. Yeah, I don't know. For me, like, there's different types of creativity. Like if I really just need to veg out, like I'm eating a bag of chips and watching movies. I love which is still a creative thing, you know. Like you're seeing, like I'm like watching my shows, The Bear, watching old movies, listening to music. I love magazines. I still do. I have subscriptions to 3 different magazines. So I collage.
Cool.
I'm getting
You
back.
collage?
I'm getting back
Like
into
physical
collaging.
collages?
Mhm.
Oh my God, you
used to do
fucking
it.
90s girl. That's so funny.
I used to do it a lot,
Wicked.
and I haven't done it in the past like 5 years because I've been fucking busy.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend and I, who live together, Rosman Card.
Yeah.
We just cleared out the so I live in the house that I lived in with my ex-husband.
Yeah.
We just like fucking cleared the basement out. We just ripped all the wallpaper out upstairs. We painted. We've
The
like really
post-relationship smudging.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, we smudged too,
Okay.
but yeah, we just got me like a little kind of art corner.
Cool.
So I'm just getting back into it. I just bought a new X-Acto knife and some Mod Podge. Everyone's getting collages for Christmas.
Wicked. It's crazy how much of that stuff we like kind of like lose like in through our 20s when we're trying to like on that grind trying to get to this career that we want. We're so willing to like sacrifice these like just these creative hobbies that we had. Enjoy, yeah, sure. Let's put it that big.
Yeah.
Actual joy.
And I find like for me, obviously my job is very digital.
Mhm.
I am on a screen all the time.
Yeah.
My phone, I'm on 11 different Instagram accounts every day, checking in on them, making like it's a lot.
So collaging is kind of like your idea of touching grass in a sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. I have a dog. I walk my dog every day. Like I will listen to a podcast in the morning. Like that's my
What do you listen to in the morning? What's your podcast?
Armchair Expert.
Cool. Yeah.
And Smartless.
Yeah, Smartless is great.
And sometimes I listen to Caller Daddy.
Do you listen to you ever listen to Huberman Lab?
No, I'm very particular and obsessive. I love Fame.
Oh, okay.
I pretty much exclusively listen to like Fame interviews.
Celebrity interviews and stuff like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's like so I guess you're in the right line of work for that then, but I'm surprised that like I don't think I've ever heard somebody say that before, that they love Fame. It's not like they're like into just like celebrity gossip and stuff, but like you just like the idea of it is insane, right?
I love it.
They're gods walking amongst people at this point. Like we literally worship these celebrities and turn them into like...
I would say like, yeah, I agree. Most people are like that. I think I know a lot about celebrities. I'm not in on the gossip. Like I don't.
Yeah.
But I do know like an obscure people like David Chang. You know what I mean? Like,
Maddie
I couldn't
Matheson.
tell you. Oh, fuck.
Fucking love that guy.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
What's his podcast with that guy from Venice Beach?
Oh, I can't remember, but I know that he was in The
I love
Bear,
him.
and I found it was hilarious that they made him a utility handyman instead of a fucking...
He's like a writer on The Bear.
Yeah,
And he did all the food.
Yeah, but he's not in the show. He's not a culinary person at all.
He didn't want to be.
No, he's just like the handyman.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Until the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, he was like I thought he was like an assistant manager or something. At the
He
end
becomes like a maitre d'.
Yeah. Which is dope, but still not a cook, right?
Not a cook.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I find Fame so interesting. I think it takes a different kind of person to be able to stand that.
Cool.
I've always just loved the idea of the rich and famous, like the elite, like going like the things that we have no idea about.
Yeah.
Like the backroom conversations, the people, like they all just fucking hang out.
Yeah, you want to tell me that there's not any conspiracies going on when there's all these rich and powerful people that just hang out day to day?
Yeah.
It's not a conspiracy to them.
I don't even care. I just want to sit in that room.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
Hear what goes on. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say when we were in New York and it was the US Open, blah, 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 blah. We were waiting to go to the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
And there was a restaurant just down the road called Figaro's. And it was the one place we'd been that we like hadn't had a spectacular service. It was really busy and everything. We're like waiting, sitting. No one come over. No one brought us water. We had menus, but like it got to a point where I got up and I was just like, hey, like I'm so sorry. Like we're on a time crunch. Like can we grab a quick cocktail? You know, whatever. The person came over, an older woman, very New Yorker. Turns out she's the owner of the place, and it's down the street from the Comedy Cellar.
Okay.
She ended up like buying us drinks, sitting with us for a little bit, like chit-chatting, and she was like, you guys truly might, like Jerry Seinfeld might come out and do a set. She was like, it's the late show. You're there at 10:45, and everyone's in town right now for the U.S. Open. Like there were so many famous people in New York that weekend. No one, we didn't see anyone there.
Really?
But she was saying that the weekend before, or the few weeks before, whatever it was, that she had gone to the Comedy Cellar. She was like, I shit you not. I was next to Bradley Cooper. He was sitting there watching the show.
Wow.
So I was so gassed up thinking, oh my God.
Am I going to see
I'm going to see someone famous.
Yeah.
I've only seen one famous person.
Really?
In real life.
Wow.
In LA for my bachelorette party.
Oh?
It was so sick.
Who was it? Who'd you see?
Can I say?
I mean, we haven't even launched yet, so sure.
She was on drugs.
Oh.
I'm not going to say.
Okay. Well,
we were at this, I'm not going to say. We were at this amazing bar in downtown LA. That's a story I will tell you after. It was my bachelorette party was amazing. It was so much fun. But she came like, the line for the women's washroom was so long. So there was a bouncer that was like, hey, there's more washrooms upstairs. Like, let me just take you up there. And I'm like, okay, cool. And this club is like a straight up like an old Victorian house. It was
sick.
So cool.
So cool.
So I'm like going down this hallway and he like brings me around the corner and some different bouncer is like bringing this famous person out and she's like so fucked, like definitely just did a line in the bathroom. God. Fucked. And I was like, oh my God, and he was like, yeah, okay, bathroom. Yep, let's just keep going. Let's keep going. Then he was like looking at the other bouncer being like, fucking get her out of here. Like she can't be seen like this. And I was like, oh my God, I just saw so-and-so fucking out of her mind getting escorted out of the bathroom.
Snapped a pic and sent it to TMZ, got an easy 20 grand for it.
Yeah, I think she's since come out being like, I'm an addict. I'm sober now. So, yeah.
Holy shit.
It was a whole thing.
Wild.
I just think fame is so interesting.
It is. It's the most human but alien thing at the same time.
Yeah.
You know? It's like it's what people do. We find somebody that we want to like worship. And
have you seen A Star Is Born? Gaga, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I've seen A Star Is Born.
Do you not like it?
I'm not a fan. No, I get mad when people. It's like, do you ever listen to a cover of a song? And how often do you hear a cover of a song be played and be like, that's better than the original? Or like this artist, this musician.
But you've seen the Barbra Streisand, Chris Christopherson?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but I still like, I've the original one's good. Still pretty good. Don't get me wrong. It was cool. But like, I have a real issue with like there being critical praise for something that's already been done once excellently. You know, like why would it seems like it's just so easy to do. And I don't mean to throw any shade at Bradley Cooper because I know he worked really hard on that project and he did well. He did really good. It was a great, like as far as that goes, it's great. But it's like, I am not going to give fucking like, let's say, I'm not going to give Dua Lipa like all my praise for doing like Bohemian Rhapsody or something. You know, it's like, why are you taking this and like do your own thing? You can borrow from the storyline, sure, but like it's like I'm just not like that's an issue I have with like Hollywood these days a lot is like they seem to be just like banking on our nostalgia and trying to do remakes of everything, and they're ruining so many things with it. Like it's why I was like so on the superhero train for a little while because like finally something that's actually like semi-original. You know, at least it's borrowed from comic books, yes, but like it hasn't been on the big screen yet. You never saw shit like when Iron Man came out, it was like, when the fuck have you ever seen stuff like that? That was insane. And like the whole like billionaire playboy aspect and stuff, cool. But like, I don't know. Oceans though, maybe an exception for me because like that used to be a Rat Pack movie back in the day. Never watched that one. So Oceans 11, 12, 13.
Clooney. Brad Pitt, Matt Damon.
Can't beat that cast, man.
Oh my God.
Fucking Don Cheadle.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Oh, fuck. Probably Bradley Cooper, honestly. I do.
Love you.
Yeah, I love Bradley Cooper. I do.
He's so hot.
Yeah. It's probably another reason why I didn't like The Star Is Born so much is because I was like, you're going to make you're going to take everything that you are, Bradley, and your incredible performances in all these different varieties of roles and stuff, and you're gonna go into your first directorial debut on a
fucking great job, Adam.
On a remake, though.
It's different.
I want to give him it's different. I tried really hard to be okay with it, but
I've truly watched it like 35 times.
My God,
I'm very obsessive.
I want to not be such a fucking hipster about it. I really do.
But it's also like you know how the sausage is made, I feel like.
I do.
That's the thing.
Film ruins film.
Exactly.
It's when I'm watching, like when I saw The Joker, which I thought was awesome fucking film, amazing. Joaquin Phoenix was like incredible. But like there's the scene where he's breaking down and he hides himself in his fridge. And all I can think is there are 34 people all around this set that is supposed to look like an apartment, and they're all watching this guy do this.
That's funny. They'll in the Armchair Expert podcast.
Yeah.
When Dax interviews Kristen Bell, his wife, they obviously it's like they're talking about lots of things, but they were, in the most recent one they were talking about them watching shows together, and they both are just like pausing, stop. Oh, look at the wig, the hair,
continuity errors.
Stop, pause, and they're like, oh my god.
Oh, it's like literally like you start noticing like, oh, the collar's tucked a certain way, like from one take to another, like they're whatever food they're like. You're looking at things.
I noticed that though.
Yeah, and it's
I'm not in there.
Yeah, it becomes really apparent, like when you start to understand like the structure of how a film is made. Like a lot of times, like most of the time, it's not even chronologically, right? Like if we're at a location,
yes,
and it's like we have that scene, but this location's used in a scene on 4 other episodes of this show, then there's like all these changes that have to happen, and like it's fun, it's cool. It's just like I guess it doesn't necessarily ruin film, but it definitely gives you a greater appreciation for a well-made film. Yeah. Because like all of the things that go into making. It's
the same with anything. Like I have like friends that are chefs that don't like to eat out because they're like, why would I pay money for this? I can make it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it ruins, like there's so much more that goes into that. Don't you love going to the movies?
Yeah,
enjoy like great movies.
The experience of it, that's why I like work. That's why I got into the movies in the first place. Was like the going to films and like the movies have always been like a big thing. You know, I wasn't really big on actors and stuff. Like I was as much as the next guy, I guess. But like I was always really more into music. I always wanted to be a fucking rock producer when I was younger. I wanted the next big fucking hard rock band to be under my label. There's but like, there's still time. We'll see what happens with the old Omnia Theater here. Who knows? Defecit just might be a wicked label for something. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff in here.
Oh yeah.
We have we got plans.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be some cool shit going on.
Okay.
We just, once we launch, it's been go time since September.
Yeah.
Like, we've got a huge backlog to go. And like these performances that we have done are good. They're really good. We found a few artists that are going to be like recording in this exact studio and stuff.
That's awesome.
They're going to be affiliating with us, and it's going to be a whole thing. But I can't wait. Today was supposed to be a big one because we were supposed to have our first fucking full band in here, and they had to drop out last minute, which was good because as you saw when you got to the chaos, I was
not ready.
Yeah, I was knee deep in green fiberglass and fucking around with 2 giant doors. But when that starts going on, I feel like that's going to be a moment where I can actually like look at the whole thing and be like, holy shit, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like
it's great.
Yeah. You looking around at it?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
You've done some good shit.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So honored to be here.
I appreciate it. I'm honored to have you on here, honestly. I think you're probably the first real success story that I've had on.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean like as far as like someone that I've known of since the beginning and stuff like that, you've really like, you come a long way. We were both just like kids in the same high school back then. And when I heard that you were like running your own marketing company, I was like, holy shit. Of course she is. Like, that's awesome. Yeah. And like, it's just good to fucking have you on and get to know you again.
Oh yeah.
Come and chat with you and shit. We're at like the 2:15 mark.
Okay.
So I'm honestly thinking maybe we should just polish it off here. Do you want to shout out to anybody? You got a handle or something you want to throw out on the camera?
No.
Or like, go ahead.
I don't want to put my personal out there.
Well, you don't have to put your personal out there. What about something that would help your
Executive Table Group.
There you go.
ExecutiveTableGroup.com, Executive Table Group on Instagram.
Perfect.
And TikTok.
There we go.
And LinkedIn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Come visit us at our restaurants.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah. I just want to say my celebrity crush is Ben Affleck from The Town. Like that person.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I love a Boston accent. I want someone that looks like they could rough me up a bit.
God, really? You like a Boston accent?
My favorite. My first crush ever. The first time I was like, oh, I think my body just moved. Was Boston Rob from Survivor.
Jesus Christ. What the hell, Mercedes? We're going to end it there.
And with that,
so long, everybody. Thanks for watching The Defecit. It was great. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. And we'll be back again next week with another episode.
Torn a roll of my bandages, and I'm just too careless to know. I'm bent and bruised and delirious, but my God, can I put on a show? Use me, oh use me. Let's see how far I can go. Excuse me, oh excuse me. Won't you please pardon my, won't you please pardon my woes, all of my woes, all of my woes. And won't you please pardon my, won't you please pardon my woes, all of my woes, all of my woes. Someone told me that time would tell. Maybe I'm still too numb to know. I'll use vacant moments to drown, to dwell, fill them up with empty metaphors. Healing, oh heal me. Won't you please prove my pain wrong? And won't you give my mistakes meaning? Make them worth all of my, make them worth all of my wounds, all of my wounds, all of my wounds. And make them worth all of my, make them worth all of my wounds, all of my wounds, all of my wounds. And won't you please pardon my, won't you please pardon my woes, all of my woes, all of my woes. And make them worth all of my, make them worth all of my wounds, all of my wounds, all of my wounds. Torn are all of my bandages, healing, oh, heal me. Won't you please prove my pain wrong? And won't you give my mistakes meaning? Make them worth all of my wounds.